Hey, welcome to the show. It's another Speak Pipe show on Thursday night with James from My Take on Reality. If you guys can hear me, you can see me, go ahead and drop a one in the chat so that I can be sure that you can hear me and you can see me and I'm not sitting here talking to myself. That would be awesome. I'll wait for some. All right, I see some ones popping up. Thank you guys so much. It begs the question, like, how many times has he sat there and talked to himself and asked for ones in the chat? Nothing happened. James, we can't see you or hear you. Awesomeness. Thank you guys so much. Welcome to the show. We have a very exciting show. We have quite a few speak pipes, as you can imagine. Last week we didn't have the show popping. So, because of the holidays, hopefully everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving. Everything worked out well. There were no problems, no issues. Nobody was there acting crazy, which is, always a concern when folks get together for the holidays, especially when, I don't know. Some of the winter stuff like the Christmas, Thanksgiving, a lot of times that's not as bad as say like family reunions or picnics where people are out and they, having a little too much fun. Things get crazy. So let me just pop these chats out so I can see what's going on. All right, y'all. I am excited. Just so as a little bit of housekeeping, I am in the process. I have to do some. That didn't work out like I thought. I'm in a process of making some arrangements so I can release some additional content, as well as prospectively doing something a little different. And I hope you guys will come along with a ride on that. Oh, something different. Let me hold on a second. There we go. That thing was crazy looking. Woo! Like some people see me like yeah, we're rocking and rolling. But just a little housekeeping. I'm going to do a lot of additional content, like the standalone videos, like 15, 20 minutes, 30-minute videos or whatever, short form content. And a lot of the special forces stuff, I want to try to attack directly. So we'll once the season is over, we're going to start talking about special forces more direct, as to what happened, what people are saying, what the stories are, etc., etc. All right. So for those of you who are kind of like I'm chomping at the bit to talk about this special forces, we will be discussing it on the channel. All right. So the room is filling up. As you guys come in, give me the thumbs up. That'd be awesome. All right. Just so we have everything set, we might as well just jump right into it because we have, like I said, we have quite a few speak pipes to get through. So we're just going to jump right into it without too much further ado. All right, let's rock and roll. Hold on, let me adjust this sound real quick. Here we go. Oh, first person up, we have Ty, who's going to give their perspective. Some of these I haven't heard yet, so it'll be a surprise for all of us.
What's up, my take on reality family? How you doing, James? Thank you for having us per usual. Happy Thursday to everybody. This is Ty, and I'm just coming in with a quick little hot take, a little 1, 2, 1, 2, about Cody this past week. So Cody is absolutely using his family as a storyline, and it's crazy. This is how he feels like he's going to gain relevance. He keeps pushing this idea that his downfall is everybody else's fault, but he has never really taken accountability for how things ended up the way they did. The truth is, the ultimate demise started with him, his choices, his favorism, and his refusal to acknowledge the damage he's caused. To add to it, in a recent interview on the Fox 5 News in New York, he acted like he was offering genuine self-reflection, but it comes off as him desperately reaching for sympathy. And I just can't get with it. I can't get with it at all. He doesn't seem to realize that he's the idiot in the room. people aren't laughing with him. They're like confusingly, shockingly, embarrassingly laughing at him. They're kind of like, what? Side eyeing it. Like, okay, this guy is interesting. That's crazy. It's wild to see him rewrite history while the rest of his family are out here finally.
Oh, Ty got cut off. What the what the shit? Hold on one second. Yeah, that was last week, Ty. Just getting it up. Gotta get caught up. Folks leave messages and I will respond to them. I will say this though. Ty makes a point. And I'm not gonna do long diatribes between because like I said, we have a few. But Ty makes a really good point. Like the whole idea of this apology tour, I'm gonna come right out and say it. I have more thoughts on this issue that I will be sharing in my videos. But point blank, let's call it what it is. This is part of the reason why I'm not a fan of like the idea of like communication solves everything. I think communication is important. I think talking, sharing your ideas, your perspectives, your viewpoints, what you feel offended by, I think that shit is very important. I'm not playing that down at all. But what I do disagree with is the notion that you just saying you're sorry somehow fixes some shit. You saying you're sorry or talking about how you shouldn't have did this and you shouldn't have did that and you wish things was different, blah, 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 doesn't mean anything, especially if you don't mean that shit in your heart. There's an old saying, put your heart in your hand, right? When you shake somebody's hand, this is how I grew up. When you shake somebody's hand, you don't shake people's hand unless you mean it. You put your heart in your hand. So if you shake their hand and you give them that acknowledgement, that respect, you mean that shit. It's a sign of respect for you to shake somebody's hand. If you don't like them, you don't respect them, you don't forgive them, they apologize, you don't forgive them, you don't shake their hand. Put your heart in your hand. And I think that when we watched Cody apologize, and he sat there and he came up with the stories about how he did this wrong and he did that wrong on special forces when he's talking to these men and they shine a light back on him and he's catching some shit and he's starting to feel bad. He sat there and was very apologetic. And as he started rolling out his interviews, he was apologetic. But with every interview, every time he tells the story, every time he opens his mouth and talks about it, all of a sudden, little by little, he's taking all that shit back. You know why? Because at the end of the day, he wasn't really sorry. So when push comes down to shove, that's what makes like these interviews and things like that makes the apology tour meaningless. It doesn't mean anything because he apologized a year ago to these people because that's when they filmed this shit. Like last summer they filmed this and he apologized. But now he's, thinking he's getting this new popularity. People are inviting him to stuff. Now all of a sudden, he's back to where he was before. It's not my fault. These women are breaking me up from my kids. That's why I don't talk to them. The only reason I don't talk to my kids is because we got divorced, even though I wasn't talking to my kids before we got divorced, which is part of the reason why these women left me in the first place. Like I said, if you don't believe it, put your heart in your hand. If you don't mean it with your heart, don't extend your hand in apology. Don't say you're sorry. Keep that shit to yourself and keep it pushing. Tell your story walking. You understand what I mean? Tell your story down the street where somebody give a shit. Because I don't care. If you're not going to be sorry and you're not going to mean it, don't apologize. Don't insult me with an apology, and don't disrespect yourself. Don't disrespect yourself by apologizing to me. Like I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. And you totally meant it. Because when given a chance to explain it or justify it, you take every opportunity to justify your behavior. So you're not sorry. But all right. We're gonna go on Ann next.
Hi, James. This is Annie Banani. So I just had to. I cannot with Cody Brown.
My fault. That's Annie Banani.
I can't. I am watching Deciders YouTube. They did a 10, almost 11-minute recording. Special Forces star Cody Brown says it sucked to hear the other recruits talk poorly about him. So first, I got a little chuckle because he said reality television, and then tell me why, like 30 seconds later, this man goes on to say that I haven't watched Special Forces. I think her name was Brianna Chicken Fried. She called him creepy. Why is Cody Brown telling these interviewers that she called him creepy to protect him because she doesn't know him? Like, that, and he's laughing about that. Doesn't make sense to me. If somebody doesn't know somebody else, why is your first reaction creepy? If you don't know him, that means, you don't know them, then that means that whatever they're doing is creepy. It's not you're just pulling some random word out of your butt because no, that's weird. Anyway, love your show. Thank you. Have a great night.
All right. I will say this with good commentary, Annie Banani. We got some more from Annie Banani, by the way. But I will say this. The whole thing with Cody is creepy. One, we have to take into account that, Cody, even though, and I get it. You're older guy. You like to think you're cool, right? And these young people see you for your cool nature, your cooldom. I get that. But to every 20-year-old, you're a weirdo. You're creepy, especially if you're too friendly with them. If you start to break down the barriers between where you are and them and start treating them like they're potentially partners or potential, like, partners, not like friendly partners or married partners, but partners. You understand what I'm saying? And you're addressing them like you're one of them or you're their peer or they're available to you. They think you're creepy. 100%. 100%. I knew a young lady. She was 24, 25, something like that. She was in graduate school, right? And there was I knew her from the gym. And there was an older guy who had talked to her, right? And she said, "Oh, it was so creepy that he came up to me." And I was like, I'm a student, right? I'm in school. Like, first of all, you're a grown ass woman. At 24, 25, you're a grown woman. Second of all, he doesn't see himself as as a senior guy, right? And I spoke to the guy. I did talk to him about it. He nice guy. He was just a little confused, we'll say. He was a little confused as to the availability as to what we go to the gym for. She's a nice young lady, but it's one of those things where I think what was because even made me go, what? You're a student, like you're what? Yeah, you're not a student. But then it occurred to me that based on how she was brought up, she's also a little bit naive. So she puts things in order. She has a space for things like older people. The guy was, I think, probably as old as her dad at the time. And she didn't understand that, older men sometimes like younger women. And so this was a foreign concept to her. So she, I'm a student. Like she's in high school or something. Like, no, girlfriend. It's hard as far as he's concerned, you can get it. So, but it's just when that happens, yeah, a 20-year-old woman, a woman in her 20s, hell, technically, as old as Cody is, a woman in her older, early 30s, mid 30s might look at Cody and say he's creepy for trying to, treat her like she's a potential sexual conquest. you know. So that's it. Like that just comes with the territory. And for his excuse, oh well, she doesn't really know me, and so she called me creepy, bruh. If it's a situation where she's talking to men and women about this older guy who made her feel uncomfortable because he was being creepy, I would think she's trying to get me jacked up. You understand what I mean? Because that would be the normal response. Like if some young lady came to me and said some creepy guy was trying to talk to me, I would think that, because that's what made me, ask or inquire about the with the young lady at the gym and the guy, because the way she said it was like, did he do something to you? What did he say? What happened? That kind of thing. So I, oh, she did it for my safety. No, bruh. No, sir. No, sir. Let's go to Annie again.
Okay, okay. Hi, James. It's Annie again. So my last message, I definitely should have watched the entire video first because I stopped at like 4 or 5 minutes or whatever. And I had to stop so many times to watch the rest of this 11-minute long video and take notes because there is so much that I cannot comprehend. So first of all, this man, uh, okay, I'm just gonna go in chronological order, looking at my notes. So he said at one point that he used to introduce himself as somebody with 4 wives because, oh, it's gonna get brought up anyway, blah, blah, blah. He just wanted to, like, get ahead of the whole thing and let people know right off the bat. Okay. And then he said once the divorces come, now he just introduces himself as the guy with 18 kids. So, like, he uses them to get attention, to segue into new conversations about himself because what? And then he's like doing it without actually talking to these kids. The only one that he allegedly reached out to is McKelty, and we don't even know how recent that is. Also, this is probably going to be a few videos or recordings. I will try to be quick. I'm so sorry.
Well, I'll address the whole, like, he used to introduce himself as a person with multiple wives, and now he does the thing where he'll introduce himself as the father of 18 children. I'm gonna go ahead and call bullshit on that. Like, I think that what it comes down to is it's not about you letting people get to know you, because you don't talk about yourself enough for people to actually genuinely get to know you. What I think it is that he likes to shock people with the big numbers because he knows it is weird. It's something that's very weird for you to have 18 kids or for you to have 4 wives. It's a weird thing. And for you to walk into a situation like, yeah, I'm married and we have 18 kids, that puts you in a 19 and counting category where you're just having kid after kid after kid after kid. And that says a lot about, because even Robin with her 5 children, that's a lot, right? But for you to say that you have a woman who pushed out 18 lives, 18 souls for you, I mean, holy smokes. Like, she blowed out. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you blew that woman back out. Like, yeah, that's insane. What are you doing? Like, you don't have kids. You have like 2 litters. Like, what? That's nuts. So I think he likes that part of it. But then he has to go back and he has to explain that Robin isn't the mother of all these kids. So now, without the cover of having these spiritual marriages, which we as people who watch Sister Wives gives him credit for, in a normal parlance, you're just a guy who goes out and has a bunch of kids with a bunch of different women, right? You have a bunch of kids with a bunch of different women. You have, you were married once to Mary, you divorced her later, but you had 1 child with your wife. Then you had 12 kids with your girlfriends or your baby mamas. Then you divorced one wife, Mary, and then you had another child with your girlfriend, who eventually became your wife and gave you your last child. But she brought 3 children from her previous marriage. So that's what rounds you up to 18. So when you say it without the cover of polygamy, he sounds ridiculous. And I think that that's the part of, like, that's the disconnect that I think he has. Like, he still thinks that he's operating in the world of sister wifedom. Like, in Sister Wives, we overlook and we pardon a lot of the stuff that we see in the wild every day. In normal, like, normal society, there are men who have kids all over the place. There are women who have different baby daddies, have 5, 6 kids. All of them have different baby daddies, call them ADD, all different daddies, right? The kids got ADD, she got ADD, all different daddies. But that's what it is, right? And we see it all the time. But because we use words like sister wives or spiritual marriages, you give the pass for that. But then when he stops saying that I was married to these other women, and it comes out that he has, that they have different moms or whatever for his kids, he becomes one of the lowest common denominators in our society. He becomes the dreg of society. Nobody is looking at a guy who has 18 kids with 4 different women and saying, wow, that guy must be really responsible. Nobody's doing that, right? But we do it with this. We pretend like it's normal. We normalize it through sister wives. But if you met a guy, you were riding on the subway, the bus, you were standing in line at the coffee shop, and you met a guy who said he had 18 kids with 4 different baby mamas, would you think to yourself, wow, I wonder if this guy is single? Hell no. Because I know as a man, if I met a woman, I got 18 kids. Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, it takes a village to raise a child, but I'm not trying to adopt a village. Like, holy smokes. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let me, Annie had another. Why is my thing not working? Oh, we are having some technical difficulties. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. That was crazy. But here we go. 83.
Okay, Annie again, part 2. So, in regards to the whole divorce thing, when he was asked if he would ever do it again or something along those lines, the general idea, he said that he fulfilled that spiritual obligation, and then he stopped and he corrected himself with an eye roll and said he corrected it to a religious obligation, and then talked about how he fulfilled the law and stuff by doing all of that. I'm not Mormon. I was not raised religious or spiritual or anything like that, so I don't know exactly the severity or the depth of this particular statement, but just the way he said it and the way he quickly corrected himself, it just made me stop and take a moment because, that's weird. And then he said that he thought quantity over quality when it came to his wives, and then he's talking about the quality of his relationship with Robin, and that's all he wants. He doesn't want another wife. He has something so beautiful with her, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, dude, you chose to get married to Mary 6 months after meeting her or whatever, and then you let Janelle hit on you while living in her house, and then went ahead and
Stop right there. We'll get back to Annie in a minute. That message ended, but we're gonna get back to Annie in a minute. Yeah, bro. This is what I'm talking about when I say Apollo lying. Because isn't that exactly contradictory to what you went on apology tour for? I'm sorry. When I said I didn't love you, I'm sorry. Now you're saying that you got married out of some kind of religious obligation. That kind of sounds to me like you don't love a mug. If I couldn't imagine a world in a world where, yeah, I'm sitting there talking to my wife, and she said, "Yeah, James, I stay with you out of obligation to our kids." Oh, 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 well, don't let me keep you. Don't let me hold you up. Shit. Obligation fulfilled. No, 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 we don't do that. That's not a thing. What? That is a that's worse. Again, I believe that there's a nugget of truth in there, though. I'm gonna say that I do think that that's where his mind was when he was taking all these wives, and I thought that I believe, just from my personal opinion, that when he married these women, it wasn't a question of love, and he deeply loved and cared about these women. I believe him when he says, because this is what something I've said before, that I think the source or the genesis of these marriages came from. I think that he married Mary because Mary was the woman he knew, like she was attractive enough at the time, and she was willing to allow him to marry other women. So he married Mary because he knew by marrying Mary, he would have access to other women, and she would help to garner other women for him. And not to mention, he gets to do the freaky deaky and not have to worry about it, right? Taking care of himself. So he had that benefit. Then he marries Janelle. She's a person who has money, and he's living with her. She seems like she has the potential to make a good amount of money and be able to provide him with a certain life and lifestyle. He was into it. She was down with it. So he marries her. Christine, clear opportunist moment there. Or as he would say, hypergamous moment, where he saw somebody of a higher social status, or belonging to a separate social caste, which was above his own, and he wanted to climb the ladder, and he wanted to use her to do it. She was just a rung in the ladder. So that, in combination with the fact that him having 3 wives as opposed to just 1 or 2, puts him in a different strata as far as the religious concept or the church is concerned. I think that that's part of what went into his decision making as to why he wanted to be with these women, and as to why he was staying with them, and he was acting the way he was, and they thought he was giving them the honeymoon experience or the husbandly experience, and he was a great guy, is because he was trying to hold his family together. And he didn't have the money or charm to do it, so he just charmed them into do it. Well, he didn't have the money to be able to just buy them off and provide for them, so he just used his charm to be able to keep the family rolling and try to keep the wheels from falling off. But I think that that was part of the big plan. So when he says that, you're just confirming it for me. But at the same time, don't go back. If that's what you were doing, and I'm right, and I believe I'm right, don't go back and apologize for you doing the thing that you did. If anything, apologize for using them. Apologize because you led them to believe that you actually cared about them when you were using them. Apologize for that. But don't apologize if you don't mean it. Be genuine about it. So I think that that's a whole thing. Let's go to Annie. And Annie had another one.
Sorry, part 3. So you moved into Janelle's house with your wife while she was married to your brother-in-law, or like after the divorce or whatever. I don't remember the timeline. But then she gets divorced because she wants you, and then you're just like, oh yeah, totally. Were you looking for quantity then, or were you looking for the quality of your lust? Because I'm just saying. And then when it came to Christine, I'm really conflicted on how I feel about his relationship with Christine, because in her book, he said some things. Over the last 15 years on the show, they've said some things, and we know that we got to take a lot of what they say with a grain of salt, because they just stayed lying to protect themselves and each other and everything. But it's like, at what point are you going to admit that there was also quality? Because allegedly you were in love with Christine. Some people say that she was your favorite. She was the fun wife, blah, blah, blah. But then there's other people who are like, no, Mary was absolutely the favorite. Da, 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 da. And then there's also other people who are like, no, Janelle was totally the favorite. So I'm just like, you had so much quality already there, but the quantity.
Well, here's the deal though. When it comes to quantity versus quality, I think you can be a good person, but just not a good fit. I think that it's the quality of you as a person has nothing, if not very little, to do with your compatibility with another person. Mary Christine Janelle didn't represent the things that Cody wanted in a spouse or a significant other. So I think when he's saying quality, what he's actually referring to is compatibility. And I don't think that these women were like ultimately we could talk about like the the struggle to give you the women that you need, whereas money will get you the women that you want. I've said that a million times on this channel. The struggle will get you the money will get you women that you want, but the struggle will get you the woman that you need. But the truth of the matter is that you want what you want. And if you want the woman who you could barely trust, and you got to go through a phone 4 or 5 times, and you sit at home at night crying, and you begging her not to go to the club with her friends and go on a girls trip, because she's gonna go down there and get a freaky dinky on, because last time she came back, everybody had to get penicillin shots because she was sitting on dirty toilet seats, right? If that's what you into, quality, like for you, quality is, oh, she looks a certain way, or she has a certain status, or she acts a certain way, and that's what makes her quality. Quality is such a subjective term, right? So we might look at it and say, somebody who is concerned about their family, somebody who is about their business as far as their kids are concerned, or concerned about their household, concerned about building themselves up, building their partner up. We might look at that person and say, that person is quality. And somebody else might say, yeah, but that person doesn't look good in a thong bikini, so that's not quality, right? So when he says quality versus quantity, it doesn't mean much to me. The one thing that I will say, and at some point we're gonna have to address, you know what? I'm gonna hold on to that little gem. I'm gonna hold on to that one because that's a video. And I need to start holding on to some of my stuff because I be giving away a lot of shit, and I be seeing it. I be saying, "Hey, hey, wait a minute." Yeah, but yeah, there's some things we're gonna have to talk about. Some things we're gonna have to talk about. But let's go into the next Annie.
Yeah, I probably should have just called it. I think we're on part 4 now. The quantity, I feel like Robin was definitely the quantity, and then she made the quality. And then we've seen her like do the whole Darvo thing. We've seen her do the manipulation. Like specifically, the scene that comes to mind is when Cody brought up like, "Oh, Aspen said, why don't you like me?" And he's like trying to have this actual like conversation or whatever with Robin about this. I would want to say momentous conversation that he had with Aspen. Now, to be fair, I didn't watch the entirety of that scene. I've seen clips and stuff. But then Robin very specifically interrupted him. She was like, that's a confrontation. It's like, girl, shut up. Anyway, and then after all that whole thing with the whole quantity over quality, he said that they have to, everybody has to regain trust. How do any of the OG3 who are like the kids have to regain your trust, Cody? Shut up. Oh my gosh. And then when the interviewer pointed out that Gia and Sean won, she asked Cody how he felt about that. This man like did a whole like etch a sketch shake with his head, like, what? Oh my gosh. And then like
Yeah, right. Cody. Look, when it comes down to it, I have some thoughts on this whole apology thing, and I will get into the apology tour specifically as we go through each one of them. But I will say this: I don't buy the apology tour. I think it's something that TLC is putting together. The production team at TLC is putting this together because they have to try to find a way to get them all back on one show because they're not ready to do spinoff shit. They're not interested in, I only say they're not ready. The TLC is not interested in doing spinoffs for their Sister Wives. And I know I said that they were going to give them spinoffs before, and I think that they were floating that as an idea. But the truth of the matter is, guys, this is TLC. This is TLC. TLC will spin off, remake, redo, and then spin off again any show that they have. Seeking Sister Wives, a show far less predominant as Sister Wives, has a spinoff, Seeking Brother Husbands. 90 Day Fiance, the number 2 on their lineup, number 2 with a bullet. Sister Wives number 1, 90 Day Fiance. Number 1, number 2 with a bullet. They have several spinoffs. You got 90 Day Fiance, 90 Day Before the 90 Days, 90 Day Happily Ever After, Other Way 90 Day. You got the UK 90 Day. you got 90 Day in Paradise. You got Hunt for Love. You have Single Life 90 Day. You got Last Resort 90 Day. That's at least 9 off the top of my head. I think I'm missing like 2 or 3 of them. Oh, you also got Diaries. You got Pillow Talk. That evens it up right there. 10 even. And I could probably go Baker's Dozen. You know, if you give me a little time. TLC has no hesitation about running a spinoff or another show. Even TLC, and this is like a big warning sign for me. Even TLC doesn't think that they have a spinoff with any of these people. Let me say that one more again. Say that for the people. Say that for the people in the back of the church, Deacon. I don't think TLC thinks that there's much of a storyline for them individually. Because if they did, they would all have spinoffs. They would run the same way they run 90 Day Fiance year round. They run 90 Day Fiance is so bad. They run 2 different 90 Day Fiancés at minimum all year round. So as soon as one ended, like 90 Day Happily Ever After just ended, they're currently running 90 Day the other way. And they're about to start 90 Day before the 90 days. As soon as one ends, another one begins. And they could do the same thing with Sister Wives. You have Janelle and Christine, or Janelle that with her family and her kids, with Maddie, Christine with David, Mary with her brood of friends, Jen and her buddies, Cody and his friend and his wife. I'm about to say his friend, and Robin. And you could run them right up until the time you roll Sister Wives back out for the 21st season. But they're struggling. And they're refusing to shoot them individually or give them individual stories. And I think that that's clear. Like, I just don't think they have the stories. Because they barely have the stories now. Let me ask you guys this. How many tell-alls do you think they're going to have? How many tell-all episodes this season do you think they're going to have? 3, 4? Historically, they've done 4. 4-part tell-alls for Sister Wives. How the hell do you do a 4-part tell-all with what we just saw? What happened this season? What happened this season? They sold Coyote Pass. Was that going to be 2 tell-alls, like 2 episodes of the tell-all? Them selling Coyote Pass? Them going on vacation? We're going to talk about Janelle going on vacation and Mary going on her 2 vacations. We're going to talk about Christine and David and Cody getting together. We're going to talk about the apology tour for 2 episodes, 1 or 2 episodes. They didn't do shit this season. They certainly don't have enough for four damn tell-alls. And I guess Cody's going to talk about his time on Special Forces on the tell-all, because that's that. What do they have? And in light of that, I'm just saying that I don't think, if they were so vested in the Brown family, which it seems like they are, and they're trying to keep Sister Wives going, but they're not giving them the spinoffs, because they could have spun them off a year ago, 2 years ago, when they were at the height of their popularity. Season 17, everybody was coming back. Season 18, everybody was back. And people were tuning in for season 18. That was like a record break year for them. Season 19, it was decent. Started going down though, teetering off. By season 20, I mean, holy shit. So, just saying. Yeah, I forgot. What's this? Hold on one second. Brittany, not Brittany, said, dude, you admittedly didn't bathe during most of Special Forces. Your creepy based on your stank alone. My thing is this. Even with the bathing thing, if I thought, where like you go out, you up all day, maybe go to the gym or something, and I thought I wasn't my freshest, right? You feel like I don't feel fresh. I don't want people standing next to me or close to me, especially, just being a dude. Like, I don't want no women around me, and I think that, I don't feel right, I don't smell right. Ain't no way in the world. Ain't no way in the world. Ain't no way in the world. Like, yeah, James, you married. So no, but I have pride. I have dignity. Shit. You know what I mean? I might not be out looking or scouting, but I'm definitely ain't trying to embarrass myself. Or as my wife say, don't be embarrassing me, because I ain't trying to be out with her and then run into somebody at the gym like, oh, look, yo. There you go. Remember the one I told you about? Yeah, him. Onions. Yep. There you go, right there. Who that woman he with? Mr. Onions. No, hell no. Hell no. I'm damn sure I would feel funny if I went to, like, if I left the gym and I didn't take a shower at the gym. If I go lift, I don't take a shower. I'll come home, take a shower. But if I go to the gym, I don't want to be up under nobody. People stand all close to me. Back up. I'm damn sure not going to be there for weeks in the Moroccan sun. Just baking. Just ass bacon. Oh, you got that funk, and it's like baked in funk at that point. Oh, you smell like a bag of garlic and onions. They've been shoveled with shit. Like, what? Ooh. And you catching that when the wind blow good. Whop, 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 whop. And they in the car, and you like, the air be on, be like, roll them windows down. Roll them windows down. And I be telling them damn instructors, like, look, y'all not gonna haze me, got me riding with Cody's ass back to the compound. And we just did a whole bunch of shit. Everybody coming in drenched with sweat. And this dude ain't had a bath in 3-4 days. Oh, hell no. And then we getting in that, like the first night they were there, they had them getting that sty ass water. Like they had like a big trough out front, and they had them all get in there and bathe, like dipping themselves in there and get out. And then they ain't changing that water regular. Oh, hell no. Hell no. This dude, ooh, you funkadelic. Hell no. No. And then you going to be up there smiling in these young girls' faces? That's what I'm talking about. Like, even if you were good looking, that's some shit you couldn't pull off. If you was good looking, your name was Brick Johnson. Your shoulders was like outstanding. Your chest was like, you swinging like crazy ass, you that guy. They call you Mr. Salami, right? You can't be funky. You're like, you look good, like you sit over there downwind and I'll look at you. But they're not trying to talk to you. You definitely can't be a middle-aged man. They're trying to talk to some 20-year-olds and you wonder why they think you creepy. Because your ass stink. You running around, you acting hyperactivity, like you acting all hyper and shit, and you running everywhere, and you bouncing and wanting to talk and shit. Man, go sit your ass down. Could you imagine? Like already, you might not want to hear what he got to say, but then he come over and he bringing that funk with him too. You over here popping shit and you smell like shit. Sit your ass down on the other side of the room. Thank you. And then you see him in the mess hall. That's another thing. I can't be smelling your ass and I'm eating. No, sir. No, sir. We can't do that. I can't be sitting here eating this gruel ass food, this nasty, because you know they ain't go to the Four Seasons and get them deliciousness, right? They're not sitting there with like delicious food. They eat like boiled chicken and stuff. I'm not trying to smell him and eat this crap. I can only do one thing. I can't do both. So I can't sit here and smell you and eat this bullshit. And I can't, you know what I mean? So you got to go over there. And you want to stand there and talk to me? You don't sit your ass down. And I'm going to give like this. And I'll say this. The one thing, you know, if you was like, obviously, these are some nice people. These are some nice folks. Like, because you might be like, yeah, Gia, she kind of suspect. Teresa kind of suspect, you know, from what you see on like their reality shows. But clearly they're nice people. Because most people, I can think of the top of my head, at least 12 people, easy 12 people who would have said some mean, hurtful shit to Cody. They'd had to watch Cody after these folks got finished talking to him. And after they got finished saying what they gonna say to his ass, they'd have to watch Cody. They couldn't leave him by himself. No, sir. No, sir. Because they would have tore his ass to pieces. How you gonna be grown walking around smelling like that? You know what I'm saying? It would have been bad. So but thank you, Brittany. Then we had Brittany Not Brittany with the $4.99 super chat. I'm not about to watch Cody comb Sal's hair while he waxes poetic about a billboard he sold 30 years ago. That's the reality show, yo. I'm gonna stand here and comb my son's hair. He's heading off to his third year as a sophomore in high school. Technically, that would be 10th grade. That would be the second wise fool. That's the second year in high school. I know, but we needed the content, so we asked him to stay back. And I'm going to comb his hair. And then he will promptly put on his hat after I finish combing it. So basically, we're going to watch nothing. Yes, that is affirmative. Yeah, so no, I'm good. I think his like they don't want to tell, they don't want to talk enough, they don't want to share enough. So your show is going to be the bullshit. But thank you so much, Brittany Not Brittany. Yeah, he said it was only 10 days and he made all of them angry. They felt vile towards him. Yeah. I look, and I'm sure that ass ain't like your ass thinking, Jack, that don't help. Okay. It's hot. Like Morocco, they was in Morocco. It was like 100 degrees, some shit like that. It's hot as hell, right? It's hot as hell. You running all over the place. You doing push-ups and sit-ups and dirty. You feel dirty already. These people, the DSs, are they yelling and hooping and hollering your face, telling you ain't shit all damn day? You begging the question, what am I doing here? What am I trying to prove? I'm here. I already got paid because they pay you up front. Like, so it doesn't matter how long you stay. After you show up for the first day, that's all bonus. So you already got your check. You can go home, right? So I'm sitting here suffering, and this dude, he's sitting here with his ass smelling like that. He up here trying to be masculine. You know what I mean? Yeah, masculine. Oh, that's that man musk. That's that man musk. We call it musculine. I came up with that term a little while ago. My man trying to be musculine. You know what I mean? Trying to impress everybody with his stink. Like, that shit is not sexy. I don't know where you get that from. Did you think that shit is cute? Like, who the hell are you hanging out? And that's, again, maybe that's a cultural thing. Maybe that's something I don't understand. Maybe that's just something that, like, where he's from, like, they smell that shit. And they be like, oh, ooh, you know, that's when he be hitting them with the thunderbolts. You know what I mean? Like, that ain't thunderbolts, that's mini strokes. Like, yeah, that dude's ass tank. He is killing you. You know what I mean? You don't crack that window. So no, yeah, look, I'm just saying, like, I come from a different culture. You know what I mean? I appreciate the fact that I can take 2-3 baths a day. Ain't no way in the world. Ain't no way in the world. Ain't no way in the world. I'm gonna sit up there, because you see them after they get finished, they whole shirt and shit be drenched. And then you get you thinking on the way back to camp, man, I can't wait get back to camp. Oh, I'm gonna take me a cold ass shower. And Cody just sitting there saying, I can't wait to get back to camp so I can put them things on my lips, pull my hat over my head, and go to sleep. It'll be so incredible. Ugh. And I'm gonna talk to them about my kids and what I feel about the place of a woman in society. Ugh. Look, and I'm gonna tell you like this. Here's a big thing. If you can't wash your ass, you can't tell me what you think a woman's place in society is. I'm sorry. You are not qualified for that conversation, sir. If you don't know that you're supposed to wash your ass, not just, forget personal hygiene, just out of common decency. You're in close quarters. You're sleeping with these people. I can't sleep at night. It's already hot as shit. They don't got no air conditioning in them damn cabins or whatever. I'm sleeping in this hot as shit bunk like sleeping on the ground, right? And the only reason I'm probably not sleeping on the ground is because that way I ain't got shit crawling on top of my ass at nighttime. And I got to smell this dude. Because, by week 1, but I say probably about a third day, he probably had that whole hut jacked up. That whole hut probably smelled like butts and onion rings. Like, no, sir. I'm sorry, I'm going crazy on this. But yeah, that trips me out. Thank you so much, Brittany. That just trips me out. That's so nasty. It's so nasty. Yeah, we have another one from Annie.
Yeah, I probably should have just called it. I think we're on part 4 now. The quantity, I feel like Robin was definitely okay. Number 5, hopefully the last. So he was like, he admitted he was like, yeah, I was kind of arrogant, and I thought they shouldn't be there, blah blah blah. And then he was like, but they managed. Like, they managed. Okay, I'm glad that he at least was upfront. He was like, yeah, I didn't think they should be there. Like, and then there was a part where oh yeah. Oh, they went. Oh, but not Sean. Like, he had to make sure that we were all aware that Sean did, like, oh, but not her. Like, okay. But then, like, that thing that he does with Sukiana where he, like, leans in and he gets really intense and he gets in her space and stuff. Like, I noticed that he did that to the female interviewer in this video where, he really had to emphasize that these women excelled and completed these courses and stuff in a place where I couldn't. That was a direct quote. In a place where I couldn't. He said that. And I was just like, oh, he mad. He is mad. And then his whole, you guys earned that with that thin upper lip toothy grin he does with the, like, aggressively positive thumbs up. It's like, okay, Mr. Sarcastic, shut up. I wrote that grin, he looks like he wanted to bite them. I did appreciate that he said that Brie deserves to be on that podium, but at the same time, I don't trust Cody. So, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think that when he was talking about, we'll get into Special Forces when we talk about it, but just for clarification, Cody had lost Special Forces, like he was asked to leave basically because he was a shitty teammate. He was horrible, right? And didn't follow instructions, like pretty much how he did the whole way through. And I saw part of the interview where he said, "Oh yeah, you got the one young lady, two women won, Gia and the gold medalist from gymnast. She won, and there was another young lady who would have won, got further than Cody, and she was on her last leg. All she had to do was just stay quiet, but she didn't want to be in the thing. So she told him, "Oh yeah, I'm on in the special forces," and they booted her because she was told not to tell him who she was. That was Chicken Fry. And he looked at her and said, "Yeah, she deserves. She should have won. As far as I'm concerned, you did win, right? Because as far as he's concerned, he also won. It wasn't fair that he was disqualified because he made it to the end. He didn't say anything or do anything which, in his mind, would have justified him being removed from the course. He was removed. He didn't quit. So he's saying, as long as I didn't quit or I didn't say I give up, I should have been on the podium as well. I should have received the honor of being a Special Forces finalist. So it's not, when he gives her that grace, I think he was also opening the door to give himself that grace. That's the first part. The second part, he's pissed at he's pissed that the women won. 3 women prospectively beat him at Special Forces. And so I think that he's most likely, if you talk to him in person, I'd be willing to bet a dime to donuts that he would say that he was eliminated because they hate men and they were trying to be politically correct or trying to make a social statement. So they let these women win when theoretically in a real wartime situation, they would have all been liabilities and I would have been a warrior because I was the only one who was physically able to do all this stuff. Yeah, but you would have been also getting everybody killed and you would have been leaving people behind. You would have been disrupting your teammates. You would have been a distraction. And let's be honest, if you're not taking care of your hygiene, it don't do no good if we all hiding in the bushes and the guy walk by like, "Oh, what the hell? Hey, come on out of there." I'm sorry, I'm stuck on this hygiene shit. But yeah, you understand what I'm saying. Like, I think that that's where he was kind of maybe this is unfair on my part, but a lot of times when I see things that Cody says or he does, I kind of look at it from a perspective of how does this statement that he's making, which seems on the surface to be magnanimous or generous to somebody else. I ask the question oftentimes, or at least find myself asking the question, how does this statement actually benefit him? In what way does this statement benefit him? And that's usually where I come up with the, like, yeah, yeah, he wasn't singing her praises as much as he was saying, yeah, I got ripped off too. And that's where I think he was at when he was talking about Chicken Fry. But let's go to Annie's last one.
Okay, this is the last one, I promise. I'm so sorry. Then he said, I didn't bring deodorant because I didn't think we'd be able to shower. That is a direct quote. I didn't bring deodorant because I didn't think we'd be able to shower. I had to rewind the video 3 times and I had to turn my volume up to make sure I heard that correctly because I was just watching Mel and Corey on Notes to Sell 444 earlier, and Melanie very specifically like brought up that quote, and I was like, "Ain't no way he said that." No, he did. He's gross. You would think that he would want to bring deodorant, but we also know that Cody likes to be stinky. He thinks it makes him all masculine, and this whole thing with the military makes him so masculine, and blah 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 blah. Also, apparently Robin really wants to mess up Brie. She refused to go to a publicity stunt because Brianna Chickerfry was going to be there. And apparently Cody told some of the other people that were attending that Robin refused to go because because if she went, she was going to kill Brie. So, okay, Robin. Sure. Anyway, love the show. Thank you so much. Sorry I talked a lot. Bye.
No worries. Thank you for calling in, Annie. But I will say this, back to front. The whole thing with Chicken Fry, I think I addressed this before. Robin was so insulted by what Chicken Fry had to say, she ready to jump on her ass. That's funny to me that she singles out Brianna chicken fry and say she gonna whip her ass for what Brianna said about Cody, but you didn't want to whip Teresa's ass or Gia's ass or any of these other people who are also on the show talking shit about Cody. I guess they get a pass. It also strikes me too, quiet stormer to quiet stormer. If I really genuinely had a problem with somebody, you might not ever know it. Like, I talk shit about Cody because, I ain't gonna run into Cody. If I do run into Cody, me and Cody ain't gonna get into it. You know what I mean? Just keep, as long as he don't try to put his hands on me, we good. But at the end of the day, if somebody says something about my lady, right, or one of my kids, I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna go because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to put my hands on because I had to tear their ass. No, I'll go. I wouldn't say nothing about it. You wouldn't even know there was a problem until there was a damn problem. That's how that shit go. When you talk about you ain't nobody sitting around talking shit like that. Anybody who about that life, they not talking about it. They living it. They about that life. They if Robin was serious about digging in LaPaglia's ass, she would have went to the John. She wouldn't have said nothing to Cody. Oh, I'm so excited to go your little event. Then she would have got to the thing. She'd have been smiling, meeting everybody, shaking everybody's hand. As soon as she'd got close enough to LaPaglia to grab her ass, that's when you know she had a problem with her. You'd have found out. That's what I was always told. You know what I mean? Family fight rule number 1. Only people, fair fights are for family. Everybody else gets stole. You know what I mean? You'll figure it out. If I got a problem with you, you'll figure it out. You'll know. You'll know we physically engage when we physically engage. You'll figure out I got a problem. But so I don't buy that bullshit for a minute. It's cute that she says it. It's not even really cute though, because you 50 years old, lady. You're like, yeah, you're gonna jump on a 20-year-old one. You jumping on a child, like for what? Because she talks shit about your husband. She lucky. Look, bruh, as much as look, I ain't take no soap because I ain't take no deodorant because I didn't think we'd be able to take baths. That doesn't explain why you didn't take baths though. Okay, you don't have deodorant, which is crazy as shit to me because you got hair care products. And that's what I think. You know what? I'm going to call it what it is. Can I say what I think it is? I'm going to say what I think it is. I think the reason he didn't want to take a shower is because he ain't had no hair care products. He'd rather sit there and try to keep pulling his head back and keep pulling his hat down than to go into the shower, take a shower, and come out with that bald spot showing and that patch just dripping down forward. That's what I think it is. He just didn't want to. He didn't want to get in water. He didn't want to take a shower. So he get into the thing, like he fall into they swim out. He get out, put his hat right on. He can't take a shower with a hat on. And I think that's why he did it. Because it's not about being sexy at that point. It's about being decent to your people. Because, what do you think is going to turn them girls off? Because that's what it is. You try to impress the girls and the guys. Guys typically don't give a shit because the guys ain't paying attention to you. The girls, if we're going to be honest, ain't paying attention to you. But even if you thought they were, I guarantee you, if you have a guy with a bald spot like Cody's head, or you have a guy who hasn't had a shower in 2 weeks and has been physically active doing shit in 100-degree heat for 2 weeks, and you say, okay, which guy would you probably wouldn't date either of them, but which guy would you absolutely never date? And I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, and I'll be willing to say 10 times out of 10, they'll say the guy who hasn't taken a shower in 2 weeks. Because I can't get that funk smell out of my head. Every time I think about it, it turns my stomach. The bald spot you could fix. I could fix that with a pair of clippers. You understand what I mean? Easy peasy. How many guys walking around bald-headed? Women think they sexy. They got Picard from Patrick Stewart from Star Trek and X-Men, bald headed. Kojak back in the 70s, bald headed. Bing Rames, Michael Jordan. How many bald headed dudes running around? Yeah, I mean, get plenty of women. Like, I don't know nobody be like, "Ooh, you smelled." Did you see Charlie come in with all his bevy of babes? Oh man, when he showed up, son, I saw them women. Then I quote win. The next thing you know, I passed out because he is funky, yo. But he get all the ladies that you've never heard that shit ever. I'm sorry, I'm going crazy about that again. That shit crazy. It's crazy to me. Yeah, I just next up we got Linda in the house.
Hey, James. It's Linda again. I'm listening to your 3-hour live from Sunday. Holy moly. You sound so fired up for the second time. Anyway, please look at your Facebook page. I posted a clip where the real estate broker, Justin, or whatever the heck his name is, he was the rappel instructor. The episode where Cody was taking each of the wives out on an individual date, and he took Robin mountain climbing, and he had to explain polygamy to the real estate agent. Let's call him that. He was the rappel instructor. Now, I understand real estate could be a side gig or whatever, but I'm just wondering, I don't even know if this guy is a real estate agent or he's just being an actor or being used for the show. But this showdown at Coyote Pass was just TLC bullshit, and we need to call them on it because it should have been done inside of an office with lawyers present so all the paperwork could be looked at, all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed, and everything could have been done in a professional manner. But of course, TLC is going to give Robin a chance to be, the victim and continue to warp Cody's mind because he's warped. And again, let's talk about special forces. Please, I got so much to say. It's my story and I'm sticking to it.
All right, that's Linda. That's her story. She's sticking to it. All right. And then, the special forces thing, we will be covering special forces. As far as, like I said, with I did see that from Linda that the guy was like the rappel instructor. Like, what the shit? They recycling people now. But I can also see, because Cody does have a bad habit of including people in the show and trying to use the show as a way to get broker some kind of deal from people. Because at one point it was reported that even on Coyote Pass, he was trying to talk builders into building homes on Coyote Pass for free or deep discounts at cost, and he would feature them on the show. And of course, the builder's like, you know how much it's going to cost? Hey, you know how much it's going to cost for us to build a house on Coyote Pass? And I'm going to basically give you a house so I can get a 5-minute spot on a TV show on TLC. Nobody's doing that. Money, please. So, yeah. Actually, Linda had another one before that. Hold on.
Hey, James, it's Linda. How are you? I'm hoping you see this before Thursday or Tuesday. But I beg you, please, you got to do a special forces because I'm seeing all these special forces, after the season posting podcasts and interviews. And boy, my favorite Carpenter, you are 10,000% correct. Not only does Cody read what we're writing, but he also is listening to what other newscasters are saying, like, from network news and twisting it around. This man has to be the best mother-fletching liar ever. Like, he is the ultimate con man and he believes his own goddamn lies. But I did post something on the Facebook page. Please, please, please take a look at it. It's an interview by a young man and his wife who won Special Forces a year or two ago, the Viles Report. He mentions Janelle gets a spiritual release. I was so happy. I was so happy. But we got to talk. I have some venom to unleash because I'm not watching Sister Wives. It's all special forces. I can't with anything else. Hopefully Sister Wives will get canceled. Oh, when he said something, I don't know if it was you, another content creator, he can't heal with his children on the show.
Can't heal with his kids on the show. Awesome. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate you. Yeah, we will be digging into Special Forces deep postseason. So be ready for that. I'll be doing some deep dives. Next up, we have Sunny Bunny in the house.
Hi, James. I just wanted to say that I was angry with Janelle last episode, and I'm angry with Janelle even more this episode because what the hell was that? Like, what was it? God, to try and go behind Mary's back when you've tried for a year to gain her trust again after the dissolution of the marriages and everything. Like, you tried to gain her trust, you got her trust, and now you're trying to double cross it because the selling of the property was not happening to the timeline you wanted. That's it. And not only that, you're aligning yourself with Cody, who's probably the reason why none of this fucking moved for years. Okay? You're aligning yourself with him. And not only that, like, to just nonchalantly say it to a camera, knowing that there will be interviews after that. Like, you just dropped a bombshell and you tried to look unbothered when you knew there was going to be like a tell-all situation, blah, blah, blah. And even if you don't have to face Mary, you know for a fact she's going to get that message, that recording. She's going to see it and break her heart. And I'm not some Mary advocate because I don't like her that much, but goddamn, girl, how could you?
Yeah, Janelle's gonna have some explaining to do. Like, you know what I mean? Janelle's gonna have some explaining to do, Jack. Because this is like the whole thing with County Pass and her desire to try to get it done. Like, I get that, but you're not going to be able to just blanket, shotgun blanket this thing and say, oh, well, I was trying to be logical and I was thinking with my logical mind, because that is going to be like it's hard to justify, girl. You and Janelle, you did say that you did it dirty, girl. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. You know what I mean? And I don't think that the like Sunny Bunny called it off rip from like when she first heard it, when it was kind of intonated that that's what Janella did. Sunny Bunny called that shit off rip. So you're losing people. Let's go. Sunny Bunny had another one. Let's listen to the second one.
Like, at least if you were scheming with Cody behind the scenes, leave it behind the scenes. Why would you even bring it up? Like, why would you even sit there and just tell on yourself like that? Like, it just makes me think that she is a terrible human being. Like, I have no other, like, she's horrible. I don't know.
Hey, James. So,
Like, at least if you were scheming with Cody behind the scenes, leave it behind the scenes. Why would you even bring it up? Like, why would you even sit there and just tell on yourself like that? Like, it just makes me think that she is a terrible human being. Like, I have no other, like, she's horrible. I don't know what to say. Like, up until now, I can understand that she was feeling detached, that whatever. She even said in this episode that she was afraid to show the public who she really is. If this is who you really are, I don't want to see it. I'm sorry. Lock it away, bury it deep where no one can see it, because that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. And then to blame it on Mary, like, oh, she was talking to a lawyer, she was getting the documents signed. I don't know what she was doing. Like, grab a phone. How about you grab a phone? You spent all this time building a relationship with Mary. Grab a phone, figure it out. is she really delaying the process, or is Cody? And not to mention the fact that you managed in this episode to make Robin look good. Robin, because, and she might be lying about this, she got to come on camera and say, oh, I'm the one who convinced Cody not to double cross Mary in all of this. Oh my God.
Sunny Bunny ain't wrong. Like, actually, this is one of the things that I was concerned about early on. We were talking about like spinoffs or whatever. And one of my concerns, if you go back, I had always said that one of the big problems that the OG3 very well may have, especially if they spin off and they don't include Cody and Robin, is that without the relative evil nature or malevolent nature of what the way Cody and Robin come off on the screen, without their presence, you're left with these women just being themselves, and you actually get a good look at them. And in some cases, you might see them and not like what you see. And I think that's what Sunny Bunny is expressing here, is that, we're seeing more of Janelle, and you don't necessarily care for the image that's coming out. And I'm going to tease a little bit. The video I'm going to do talking about Janelle and this experience will go a step further in down that vein and talking about some of the things that we as fans have never really considered, but has always been in our faces. Things that, like, something that has been what some of us might call detrimental to her time on the show. It has always been there, but we never questioned it. All right, but I'm gonna raise that point, so hopefully you guys tune in for that. But let's go to Sunny Bunny's next message.
Not to mention the fact that the way this was edited was super annoying. Like, you start the episode with this kind of bombshell that they were scheming behind Mary's back, and then rapid fire, like just rapid fire, one after the other. She's going to try some weird food. She's hanging out with her besties. She didn't have girlfriends before. Boo hoo. Like, all of this stuff. She's thinking about getting a spiritual release. She might be open to dating and what her dating preferences are. Like, all of this bombardment of information just to make us forget that she did something really awful. Like, I I don't care after that point. I don't care what kind of food she tries or what kind of men she likes. What do you mean? Like, that's not going to make me forget the beginning of this episode. And I understand that they're trying to sort of like gloss over it a little bit because, there might be spin-offs and talks and whatever, and they're trying not to make the stars look really bad. But like, this deserves to look really bad because it was. Oh my God. Like, no, don't try to pull the wool over our eyes. It doesn't work like that.
I think that's a fair point too. But one thing I will challenge a little bit on Sunny's assessment, if TLC was actually trying to save Janelle and make her, for a spinoff or so she doesn't look as bad, they never would have aired it in the first place. They could have put that in the vault and we could have never known about it, that whole issue. But they chose to do it. And I would say this. Here's the thing that we all have to be mindful of. Something again, this is something I've said before. In order for Christine, or in order for Cody and Robin to have a successful spinoff, they have to elevate Christine and Robin, make them less dirty, make them less of a problem. The easiest way to do that is on two fronts. First front, you have the women come out who are supposedly the victims of these two individuals. You have them come out and basically say, they're good people. I'm not really a victim. They're good people. So anything they did isn't that bad because essentially they're good people. They're just misunderstood. That's the first part. The second part that they don't really apparently they didn't see coming is that after you do that, the second part that furthers that is they have to make the victims look dirty so that the actions of the victimizers are justified. What do I mean by that? You have to make it look like Mary Christine and Janelle are unreasonable. And you know what? I'm gonna make that a video. I'm gonna break that all down. OG3, I'm gonna make that a video. Unreasonable. Because I'll just say dirty. You have to dirty them up. And they are doing things to get that accomplished. And again, that's one of the things that's in our faces. They're showing us that they're going to make them look dirty. They're going to make them look like, these are suspect or questionable people. So anything Mary or anything Cody or Robin did to them is more out of self-defense or is just the culture of the family. It's the culture. It's just how our family worked. So I can't be blamed because I'm good at it. I'm a bad guy because I won, right? We were all doing the same thing to each other. So I don't know. I haven't completely abandoned the idea that they may try to save Cody and Robin's reputation so that they can finesse them into a new show. And here's the problem. And because I know some of you guys will be like, no, Cody and Robin will never have their own show. Here's the thing, guys. As far as TLC is concerned, if you go to social media sites, if you go to the TLC comment section, whose names are mentioned the most? Now, I'm not saying the most positive people admire them, people look forward to seeing them. Who gets talked about more than anybody else on the show? Who gets more attention? Who are the two cast members who get more attention than anybody on the show? I'll give you a hint. Their names rhyme with Brody and Sabin. Some people call them Robin. They get way more attention. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the TV producers and showrunners, they don't care. They can't distinguish between people watching the show because they love it and people hate watching the show. So if they come out with a Cody and Robin show and people hate watch it, as long as you're watching it, that's all they care about. So they very well may try to save them, because I'm also looking at the fact too that so far Cody's the only one who's been invited to do anything outside of Sister Wives. Like Mary, Christine, and Janelle have done far and away more interviews. But as far as like doing anything outside the realm of Sister Wives on a protracted basis, week after week, Cody has that done. And there's a reason why it was Cody. Just saying. Don't kill a messenger. Don't kill a messenger. But next up, we got let's do Sunny Bunny again.
Not to mention the fact that the way this was edited was super annoying. Like, you start the episode with this kind of bombshell that they were scheming behind Mary's back, and then rapid fire, like just rapid fire, one after the other. She's going to try some weird food. She's hanging out with her besties. She didn't have girlfriends before. Boo hoo. Like, all of this stuff. She's thinking about getting a spiritual release. She might be open to dating and what her dating preferences are. Like, all of this bombardment of information just to make us forget that she did something really awful. Like, I don't care after that point. I don't care what kind of food she tries or what kind of men she likes. What do you mean? Like, that's not going to make me forget the beginning of this episode. And I understand that they're trying to sort of like gloss over it a little bit because, there might be spin-offs and talks and whatever, and they're trying not to make the stars look really bad. But like, this deserves to look really bad because it was. Oh my God. Like, no, don't try to pull the wool over our eyes. It doesn't work like that.
Fair play. Let's go to number 4. I think we might have listened to that one before, but that's okay.
Also, wasn't Janelle the one who said that Cody leaks like a sieve? So if you're trying to scheme behind someone else's back, is that really the man you want to go with? The man who allegedly stole from you? And you weren't like, you were keeping the books. You know this for a fact, Janelle. I mean, allegedly. So that's the guy you want to cut a deal with? Really? And then if that guy with all this past tells you that Mary is holding up this whole deal, why not talk to Mary and be like, hey, I heard that you're holding up the deal. What's happening? Can I help you? I kind of need this to go through fast because I need it for my farm or whatever. Just to find ways to understand what's happening. Because it kind of seems like she didn't know about the NDA, right? And if she didn't, why didn't she? Because I thought they were supposed to be in communication. And if she did know about the NDA and she was still upset with Mary for not signing the damn thing, that's even worse. Like, I feel like this is the last season of Game of Thrones when everybody just acts out of character and the whole thing goes to shit. Like, I thought Janelle was more rational and more grounded.
I think those are good points. Like when push comes down to shove, Mary would have been a damn fool to sign an NDA, point blank. And I think, and it's hard for me to get around the idea that because we give a lot of guff to these ladies for trusting Cody and why did you trust them? And you said you trusted them. And then they go back and they say that they didn't trust him, that he lied and da 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 da. But then at the same time, they're coming to us saying, yeah, we trusted him. That's why we decided to go ahead and give him the NDA and trusted he would take care of us on the back end, even though we're giving away all our leverage. Because that's how it should work. Because we're all family and we're going to look out for each other. And especially after he has demonstrated his unwillingness to look after you and his willingness to screw you over, that whole concept makes zero sense to me. It made zero sense to me. Jewel of the Nile, what's going on? Yeah, I agree with Sunny Bunny. Like, there's a lot to be talked about there. Next up, we got Martinique. Let's check out what she has to say.
Hi, James. This is Martinique. I am a longtime lurker on the channel. I just wanted to pose the question to Cody if I ever met him in person. Yeah. We know the wives did this, polygamy this, all of that. My question to you is, what part belongs to you? What did you do that earned your children to not, want to contact you and be around you? Just answer that part of the question.
Yeah, I think from Cody's respect, he would just say that it's not that I didn't want my kids around. It's because their mothers have talked them out of being around me. It's not my fault. It's them. I try to contact them. They don't reach out to me. It's them. It's not me. I'm a great dad. Ask my other 3 kids. 4 kids, I guess, 4 or 5 kids. Robin's kids. We don't know how Dayton feels about it because we haven't seen him. But yeah, I think he would, because that's what he's been doing. He's been blaming the kids for him not being around, and he's been blaming the other wives for him negatively influencing the kids and saying it, persuading them to not want to hang out with him or have him around. So there's no reason I would think he would all of a sudden change or be different. But thank you so much, long time lurker. Listen to this one. Thank you for lurking. Never thought you'd hear somebody say that. Thank you for lurking. Thanks for calling in too. Appreciate you. Next up, we got Brittany, not Brittany, one of the Mega Mods in the house. And he didn't play. Brittany, not Brittany.
Hey, James. Hey, everyone. So I'm listening to last night's live for the most recent episode. And you're talking about Cody and his little cry fest or whatever, and how, he brought up his dad. And what's crazy about the fact that he brought up his dad and not his son is if he were to bring up his son, if he were to bring up Garrison and Garrison's passing, he would have to talk about the fact that he, as a parent, lost a child and he didn't make any efforts to mend that relationship. No, he brought up his father, and he brought it up under the sense of he has regrets with not making amends with his father. So he, in my opinion, high key, really hit us with the "they gonna miss me when I'm gone." That's basically what I got up there to say. He got up there to say, you know what, I'm gonna die one day, and they're gonna regret not making amends with me, and I hate it for him. And I just sir, fuck you.
I agree. I think I made that same assessment. Like when he talks about the dad, it's his dad. It's not from the recess of, as a father, as a parent, me not being close to my dad when he passed away and missing that opportunity. I realized how fragile life is. Even in spite of me losing a child, I realize how fragile life is. And I need to rebuild these relationships with my kids. No, like Brittany said, like I said before, at the end of the day, it's y'all gonna miss me when I'm gone. When I ain't here no more, you ain't gonna have me to pick on no more. Then you gonna be crying the blues, son. When I'm not here, don't save your tears. You don't respect your father now, but wait till I'm gone, and you gonna respect me and miss me then, ain't you? Oh yeah, you will. You're not gonna have me to pick on no more. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, So yeah, it's he's that's his selfish way of doing it, because he can't come out and say, I need to do this. I recognize with the loss of my father, the loss of my son, the fragility of life. You don't plan for people going. You think you think that this thing that you're arguing about is so important, which would be a lesson, is a life lesson. You think the thing you're arguing about is so important, but then when a person passes and you no longer have the opportunity, you look back and you can't even remember what you were arguing about. You can't remember what you were fighting about. And so now you're sitting there saying, like, that was a dumbass thing. I wasted a bunch of time. I missed a bunch of opportunities of that companionship, that friendship, those conversations. I missed all that for some dumbass reason. It doesn't mean anything. He didn't learn that lesson. And this is, again, why I say, bump that apology. Save that apology. Get that apology to somebody else who need it. Because if you learn that lesson and you actually ingrain that in yourself, that would be something that I think you would take into it. That you have to make these relationships right, because you aren't guaranteed this time, and that life is fragile, and you can lose people. You can end up burying your children. It's not guaranteed that it's going to go the other way, the natural way where your kids bury you. You may have to bury them. And, I just, as a side note for me, because even when I said it, I thought about it. I recognize that one day, like I have a different relationship with my kids, obviously, than Cody has. And I recognize that one day I'm going to be gone, and I'm doing the best I can to try to prepare my kids for the day when I'm no longer here. Right. Because I feel that that's my job as a parent. My job as a parent is not to make them feel good and and give them, buy them Christmas presents and make sure they have nice birthdays. My job as a parent is to make sure that they're prepared for when I'm no longer around, that they have the tools to be able to not only take care of themselves, but that they have the foundations to be able to foster and take care of their own families, raise their own kids and have the mindset that they have to prepare their children for when they're not around, right? But with all that being said, I also recognize that, when I go, it'll be hard on them, just like it's hard on me, with my mom passing, or my dad, if he's not doing well, that affects me. And then the loss of a parent, that's something that you have to deal with. And that's not something that, even though I guess to Cody's thing, like, oh, I'm so jealous because when you die, your kids are gonna miss you. They're gonna cry, they're gonna break down, James. I don't find pleasure in that. I think that that's a sad thing because one, they're going to be experiencing pain. Two, I'm going to be the source of that pain. Three, there's nothing I can do about it. Because you say the day you start living, the day you born, the day you start living is the day you start dying. So ain't nobody making out of this bad boy alive. So you might as well, no survivors. So you got to be ready. You got to be, you got to be mindful of that it's inevitable that it's going to happen, but you don't necessarily look forward to it. It definitely shouldn't be a punishment. Like my life and my time with them and me being absent should not be a punishment for them. And it's already hurtful enough, but it's weird that that's how he kind of sees his own mortality. Like my mortality is that when I'm gone, you gonna cry like, oh, I'm gonna break your ass down. I'm breaking it down like an old Sister Wives vehicle in season 1. You're gonna be broke down on the side of the mountain with 4 flats blowed out the side of your tire and the motor on the ground. The sister wife mobile. So yeah, it's just creepy. But let's go to Brittany again.
Okay, and another thing that I wanted to bring up in regards to the absolute fuckery that raggedy ass Janelle did with Mary. And one of the big things about Coyote Pass, and like one of the big things for why they got Coyote Pass, was to have something to leave for their children. All of these women talk about how much they care about their sister wives' children, how they feel like those kids are also an extension of them. They're also their kids. So why, Christine, did you not ensure that your kids with Janelle and your child with Mary also had a fair share of Coyote Pass? Why Janelle? And you know what? I'll give Christine a pass because at that point she really just was trying to get the hell out of Dodge. I will give Christine that. Janelle, your bitch ass knew what that land was for Mary. That was for, like, just say you don't give a fuck about Leon. Because that's what it comes down to. We all know that Cody and Robin say fuck them kids. Janelle and Christine also say fuck them other kids too. Because they didn't do anything to make sure that that the other kids were taken care of when it didn't benefit them either.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Because they kept saying it. This is part of that legacy. And that wouldn't that be a time when you might say you deserve a little bit more because of your kids? Like, yeah, I get it. Like, when you're trying to figure out housing, you might be able to make the argument that I shouldn't be punished because I didn't have enough kids when I wanted to have kids. But when it comes time for you to divide the property up and the land up, we have to do it by who's here and not well wishes. So if Christine and Janelle have 6 kids apiece, Robin has technically two of his kids. And then I guess you give her credit for the 5 because he adopted the other 3 and Mary only had 1. Are you making sure all the kids are getting their fair share? Or you just, to hell with it? So I think that's a good point. But hold on one second. Let me do a super chat real quick because we had a couple come in. We had Cindy from Oz, Cindy from Down Under with a $2.99 super chat. Cody and Robin will be complaining about Christine's book season 21. Yeah, right. That'll be all of season 21. I have nothing else to talk about except for Christine and how she drugged me in her book, which technically it had some parts in it that were kind of spicy, but that book was nowhere near as bad as it could have been. You know, that book was actually kind of, it was confirming a lot of stuff that we already knew. I'll say it that way. It was confirming stuff we already knew, which was bad, but it wasn't like it was like, let me give you all a whole list of new examples of how Cody and Robin did me wrong. It was merely like, let me give you some additional details that you may not have known about examples that you already know about and have already talked about on various platforms. I also heard in season 21, well, I didn't say I heard, because I'm aware that Janelle has the release, that might be a plot line in season 21 as well. So, but I don't want to be an asshole about it, but after a while with some of this stuff, been there, done that. Mary already did it. It's nice to hear. It's a nice little update, but how deep is it really? You guys aren't even really hanging out. It's not like you're in close proximity to one another. I'm happy to hear that Janelle got the release because I know it's burning Cody's ass up. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I necessarily need to see it. Because even when Mary got the release, Cody was like, he didn't understand why Mary was given a release, and he was bitter about it. But it wasn't like he was bitter enough to say because he wanted her back. And even in Janelle's case, like, you go to her and basically say, we'll never get back together again. We'll never be together. And like Janelle even said, like I've said in previous episodes, if you find out your religion is true, would you want to die and go to heaven and be married to Cody? Especially if you're in a relationship with some whole other ass person. And for you, heaven might be you spending eternity with this person you were possibly planning on marrying, or somebody you did marry, but because you were sealed to Cody, you wound up being his sex slave for eternity. Like, who the hell? Who's signing off on that? I mean? Like, that sounds like the other place to me. Does not sound like heaven. That sounds like the place where everybody wear tank tops because it's unseasonably warm. So I season 21, I'm kind of looking at it side eye, because to be honest with you, season 20 was light as shit. Season 20 was light. Technically, season 19 was light. The only thing that was really heavy on season 19 was the fact that you had Big G's funeral. Other than that, season 19 was light as shit too. So I don't know. Where do we go from here? That's all I'm saying. Where do we go? But let me give you a little something. Cindy from Oz. Oh, shucks. All right. Next up, we have Ty in the house. What's going on, Ty? How you doing? I think Janelle made Cody sign an NDA to not talk about Garrison, because if he could, Big G's not being here would be a whole storyline for him and Robin. You know what? I think you're 100% right. I think that makes sense. That shit does make sense. Because Cody walks up to the line where he mentions Garrison, and if it was a thing where he was like, I'm absolutely not going to talk about him no matter what, then he wouldn't bring him up. Like Janelle, she talks about Garrison here and there, but she never talks about him in the form of an excuse. Cody talks about him in the form of some excuse on why he's doing something or he's not doing something. Janelle will talk about, like, I miss Garrison, or I was thinking about Garrison, or Maddie's baby was going to be born on Garrison's sunset date, that kind of thing, right? Which is different. Like, it's just different. Hits different. So I think, Ty, you might be on to something. Ty is putting pieces together. Let me give Ty a little something. Uh-oh. Putting pieces together. They're like, Ty done figured it out. Next up, we got Brittany again. Let me check that out. Yep.
And you know what? Here's the thing of why I'm just completely done with this show. Like after this episode, it just confirmed to me that I don't need to watch the show anymore. I just don't. It's okay. I'm done. Because these people, I understand that no family is perfect. I got that. But one of the main points that they basically said why we were wrong about polygamy is the fact that, you have these kids being raised by multiple people. There are multiple people in there looking out for the best interests of these children. And all they've shown us is that none of them give a fuck about the kids that didn't come out of their bodies. That's really what it has come down to. Because Janelle said, I don't care if Leon doesn't get the fair share of what their mom contributed to Coyote Pass. I don't care. I don't care. That's not my problem. Christine, I understand why she didn't fight to make sure that Janelle and Mary had equitable rights to her lot, but she also said the same thing.
No lies detected. And this is where the revolution begins. This is where the turning begins. Because people are starting to question, and this is one of the things I talked about with them having a spinoff. In the absence of Cody and Robin, and you actually start looking at the OG3, people are starting to question the motives and motivations of the OG3. Why they do things, why they didn't do things, why they held positions they held, why they acted the way they acted. We can make arguments all day about Janelle needing the money and this, that, and other, but it always begs the question, like, if you needed the money so bad, why were you so willing to just let money go? Then all of a sudden it's like, I got to get the money. I got to get it. And I'll step over anybody to do that. But that kind of puts you in Cody territory because that's exactly what he's doing, isn't it? So, but let's go Brittany again.
Okay, like at this point, their actions have proven that y'all have no morals. You have no morals. You stand for nothing. The whole line of bullshit that you fed us about, why this family life was supposed to be so much better than everybody else, despite all the hardships, it's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. And you don't deserve any of the fucking money that you're getting for it. Like, no, fuck y'all. All of you. All of you. Last week, it was fuck Cody, but no. No, fuck all of you. No. Cancel my subscription. We're done. I'm done. I'm over it.
Yeah, as crazy as it is, we got some more from Brittany, but as crazy as it is, gotta tell you, James had pulled one of his subscriptions from one of these streaming networks because I will use a certain network to for clip stuff, but yeah, I mean, I feel you. Like I'm spending way too much money on these people. They disrespecting me. They don't give a shit. They ain't gonna put no stories out. They just kind of, showing home movies. Like we don't even have like a reality show. We just basically got the Brown family home movies at this point. So what the hell are we doing? Here we go, Brittany, not Brittany. Next message.
Hey, James. So I'm listening to tonight's call in, and you're talking with Karma Cuties, who's telling you about her friend who has kids, and he basically uses whoever he's dating as an excuse not to deal with them kids. And James, you brought up a point about how the new girlfriend of the week probably doesn't even know that she's getting blamed for it because nobody's talking to her. And it brought me back to Robin, who she's not the girlfriend of the week. She's not the flavor of the month. She's his wife, and she has been his wife for over a decade. And she should have separate relationships with all of these kids, separate from Cody, separate from the three mothers, and separate from the other children. And that actually reminded me of a post that I saw on social media a few months ago. that said to be in community is to be inconvenienced. And
Love that.
that is the problem with Cody and Robin. They do not want to be inconvenienced. Cody sat up there and had all of them kids, and on one hand, he wants them all up in his face, asking for his advice, needing him, praising him, all that. And at the same time, he really be looking at them like, damn, y'all need something again? Can I get a break? You asked for this. I don't know what to tell you. Then you have Robin, who married into a family with a whole bunch of kids already, with the expectation that they would be all up in her face, needing her, praising her, adoring her, when it didn't interfere with anything else that she had going on. And high key, you can actually add her kids to that list as well, because Robin don't do shit all day. From what we can see and from what everybody else says, Robin really doesn't do anything. So why does she need a nanny? Because her kids are also an inconvenience to her, which actually is hilarious, because now she has them sitting up there coming in the middle of the night, getting in between her and Cody, because Cody is her inconvenience. Love it.
I do love that statement though. To be in community is to be inconvenienced, and I think that one of the things that we're looking at is because there's a lot of truth in that. It's a lot of truth in that, and it's not just because being inconvenienced for inconvenience sake, but it's in the same line as you have a true friend, or friendship is tested when you need something. We'll say it that way. Friendship is tested when you need something. And when you talk about like a community and the inconvenience of it, and even with like the kids coming to you, asking you questions and questioning life, and it's all great when there's self-aggrandizement for Cody. When he gets to sit around and play the philosopher and talk his shit and oh yeah, this is what I think about life. But it's hard when you have to deal with them about things that have nothing to do with you and you don't really get a benefit from, but it's something that they're going through and you have to pay attention to and maybe nurture or talk or console and discuss with them on how to get through a particularly hard situation. It's that inconvenience of your kids coming to you or family members coming to you and they have a problem that you can't solve. This isn't a daytime drama problem where you have an issue or a problem and you guys sitting to talk about it for 25 minutes, and then by the hour mark all your problems and everything is resolved. Or if you're on a sitcom, half hour mark all your problems are resolved, all the confusion is put aside and everything is lovely. Life doesn't work that way. So it's the hard day to day that makes relationships difficult, and it makes them work. And the truth of it is that what we've seen, at least on the show, is that Cody's unwilling to do the work. So kids, wives get abandoned. Next up, we got a Brittany again.
Hey, James. So I'm listening.
Oh, sorry.
And honestly, the phrasing of to be in community is to be inconvenienced really speaks to the heart of the cognitive dissonance that is Cody and Robin. Because they really want these people to be begging for their attention. They want them to be all up in their space, but only when they want it. They want to be able to, like, play the big happy family and then shove these people off into the back of the closet until they want to get them out again. And it's almost like it's like they would treat them like Andy in Toy Story. Like they don't realize, it's not even that they don't realize, they're truly shocked that these people have lives outside of them and lives that don't revolve around them. And not only are they shocked by it, they feel disrespected by it, which is absolutely crazy, because who are you? Who are you? You're Cody and Robin are on a show that they wouldn't have if all the other people, the people that they don't like, the people that they don't really want to be around if it's an inconvenience to them. If they didn't exist, they wouldn't have shit. And yet, they treat them so rudely.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that I think it's spot on, but it's hilarious that you're like, how dare you have a life outside of me? What is wrong with you? Who raised you people? You selfish bastards. Oh man. We have Brittany's last of this group, and then I think we have a couple more for her later.
And another thing, in this last episode, Janelle mentioned that Cody tipped well, and actually saw a Reddit post from one of the people that helped them move into the McMansion 2.0. And they had a lot of stuff. Like, basically, the guy said that they didn't really explain to them how much stuff they really had. It ended up being a longer job than they anticipated. But he said that Cody was actually really nice about it, like didn't make a big fuss at the fact that the job took longer, and that he tipped well. So I will give kudos to Cody for a lot of that, because he is high maintenance, and he knows he's high maintenance. And when it comes to people outside of the family, he does seemingly, at least from like a few accounts, seem to be an actually like decent person to people who are like doing a service for him. And as a service worker, 100% value that. So that is the only positive thing I have to say about Cody.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And just a quick lesson: always take care of your your service people, your waiters, wait staff. Always take care of them, because not only are the people who handle your food in a lot of cases, or do a service or whatever for you, but I don't think it's necessarily a requirement for everything, like tips or taking care of people. But I definitely like to tip good service. Definitely like to take care of, especially like I tip usually if I go out, I'll tip regardless. But in fairness, I've been known to over tip, just because I want people to know that I genuinely appreciate them. You guys did a decent job, but you went above and beyond. Like I can recall a few places I've been, and the service was just phenomenal, like outstanding. It's not like and I'm not talking about like highbrow, blah blah blah. I'm talking about like just regular, even casual dining places, and it's just outstanding service. Like, this was incredible. It was a great experience. I'll even pull people managers aside. Whatever you paying that motherfucker, you need to go ahead and double that. Because you know what I mean. When I think of this experience, that's what I'm coming back to. Or I make the recommendation, like, oh, have you ever eaten at this place or that place? Yes, I have, and it was an awesome experience. And I'm not just talking about the food or the service. I'm talking about the person who I came in contact with, and how they treated me, and how they took care of my table, or how they took care of me in that place, right? So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, and I think there's a level of appreciation, but I also recognize the fact that Cody may do it not necessarily because he appreciates the service as much as he wants to be viewed as a big shot. So I think that's kind of one of the things where I'll kind of, I'll give him credit for it, but I'll do it not begrudgingly, but I'll do it kind of like, okay, but I recognize it might be something else too. But next up, we got Mary in the house.
Hey, James, this is Mary. Hey, just calling in. I just want to talk about Cody, and he's just a runner. He's it's not the fight in him. There's just a flight in him. Everything he's been doing his whole life, he's just a runner. When Mary had issues bringing in Janelle, what does he do? He's just running off with Janelle doing things, is my guess. Bringing in Christine, I'm sure Janelle had issues with it. What's he do? He's just hanging out with Janelle, or going back over to Mary's or something like that. even when they were in Vegas, instead of staying there, figuring out conventional loans, because I'm pretty sure they had balloon loans. That magical 5-year was up. What does he have to do? He has to run to Flagstaff. Cody's been running his whole life. He had a fight, and it's not any better. He's with Robin. What's he do? He gets in a fight. He jumps in his car and he runs. He's a runner. He won't address anything. And he stays away from those kids he has problems with. So what's he do? He runs. He had problems with Christine and her kids. So what's he do? He stays away from them. He is just the avoider. And then when he is there, he's just yelling, screaming sometimes. So I don't know. This man just needs so much help, but I don't know when he's going to stop running. Hey, James, let me know what you think.
I think it's adept that you classified him as always running and avoiding confrontation, trouble, or more to the point, it's not even so much he's conflict averse as much as he doesn't like the inconvenience of being conflicted. Like he doesn't want to have anybody come at him or talk to him or have to deal with anybody because it's an inconvenience. He doesn't mind treating people nastily or being mean or cruel to people. He just doesn't want to be inconvenienced when he does it. So I think that's part of it. Next up, we got Mary again.
Hey, James, I just want to talk about Cody and Robin, and have they ever gone back to visit his mother since, has it been almost 15 years with Mr. G's funeral there? Why has Robin never seen him ride a horse? This is really strange. Or was she just playing that up for the cameras? Again, if he's avoiding his mother, why? What's going on? Again, because Cody knows that probably his father was right all along. He should have never married 3 wives in 3 years. Why? Because I'm guessing polygamy says that you need to have a solid number 1 marriage. Then you have to have a solid number 2 marriage. When you can afford it, then you may go get a 3rd wife. But he's just out marrying women just to say he has 3, I'm guessing his father was right. He never showed up to Christine and Cody's wedding for that reason. He knows Cody was doing polygamy wrong. Even in his wise age, Cody still can't listen to him. And my guess is Mary never felt solid, even financially, let alone emotionally, with bringing in wives, because he wasn't consulting with her. Cody picked all of those wives, and he did it his way, in his own way. He shoved the stuff down Mary's throat, shoved Christine down Mary and Janelle's throat. He was not consulting them at all. And then he shoved Robin down their throats. Well, James, let me know what you think.
I do think he pretty much did what he wanted to do. With regard to his mom, I think that the reason why, and this is just from what I've heard, I don't know the woman personally or the family personally, but it's my understanding that she's actually suffering from, I think it's dementia. She has issues. So that, like between dementia or Alzheimer's, those types of illnesses are very taxing on relatives, and they're hard. I've had one of my family members had dementia. My grandmother on my dad's side had dementia before she passed, and it's scary from the respect of like the toll that it takes on the individual, and to know where they were, and to watch them basically dissolve in front of your eyes is very difficult. And it's also trying and taxing on the other people around you. Particularly like in my particular case, like it was hard for my dad because one is his mom, but 2, because there's a fear or concern that this may also happen to you. Right. And one of the things that like I tell you guys, like during Thanksgiving, I was supposed to be on, and we were going to do a live. I planned to do one, but I wound up talking to my dad and my brother, and we sit around and have these big conversations or whatever. And it's very difficult for a person who finds such pride in intelligence, if you will, not necessarily being smart, just curious and having those discussions and talks and and being a part of that life and lifestyle, it's very difficult for you to imagine being in a situation where you may lose that. And so I understand that it may be difficult for Cody or anybody in that situation to uh, deal with that circumstance. And I certainly wouldn't put that on television for the consumption of people to watch. Like, I wouldn't do that to my family members. With regard to the dad not supporting him taking on 3 wives, I think a lot of it comes down to Cody's personality and the fact that he didn't have a plan for his family. He wasn't able to take care of himself, and he didn't plan for how he was going to provide for himself, much less for 2 other women or 3 women and potentially children. And so nobody wants to see their kid get into a bad situation financially. Plus, from what I understand, Cody's relationship with his dad was a little rough. So I think that was part of it as well. But let's go to Mary again. Let's make sure I got the right one. Okay.
Hey, James, I just want to talk about Cody and Robin, and have they ever gone back to visit his mother since, has it been almost 15 years with Mr. G's funeral there?
Oh, we already did that one. Hold on.
Hey, James, this is Mary. Hey, the preview for Cody apologizing to Christine, it is so cringy. Just on the preview, he's coming in like, hey, I got a secret. Hey, I'm gonna drop a bomb on you guys, like he did with the dress, and he's gonna drop an apology on her or something insane. Like, hey guys, hold your beer. You know what? I got breaking news coming your way. It looks crazy just on a preview. I can't imagine what the rest of it is. And Christine said she probably still can't believe it, I think, in an interview she did. But let me know what you think. Thanks, Miss Mary.
All right. Hold on a second. Oh, shit. All right. Yeah, they're playing up the whole apology tour like it's a big deal for him because this is his revival. So they like TLC is promoting the hell out of it. He's promoting the hell out of it because this is supposed to be the anchor of the season. But I think this underplayed is underwhelming because 1, we know he doesn't mean it. 2, the apology in itself would merely be ceremonial. Because it's not like you're going to apologize and you're coming back or you'll be forgiven and then we're going to try to build the relationships back. Like, you're just saying you're sorry just to say you're sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's you're apologizing to somebody you're never going to see again. So it doesn't mean anything. It's nice that you did it, but it doesn't mean anything. So I think that in itself is just ridiculous. But let's go to the next one.
Hey, James, this is Mary. This is the last one for today. Hey, I think Cody and Robin may secretly still be in this AUB. I don't know. Is Cody tithing something over to that prophet? This is not a coincidence that the second wife, Mel's mother, was asked to sign an NDA over land and a house. Now, boom, Cody's asking Mary to sign an NDA for this season. This is not a coincidence. Come on. This is these 2 men getting together, trying to do some under the table crap to women. Man, it just stinks. It stinks to high heaven that there's men out there today that still want to screw over women, give them nothing. Absolutely horrible. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.
I don't disagree. I think that, but I will take it a step further. I don't think it's as much a coincidence that these guys had tried to get their women to sign NDAs so that they could basically screw them and they could never talk about it. Because again, NDAs would also cover any court filings. The only time an NDA could be overturned for a court proceeding would be a criminal case, or a judge would have to come in and say that the NDA is invalid or improperly distributed. But if you knowingly sign an NDA, you can't put that into a public document or a pleading for a complaint for a lawsuit. So, I mean, I think that it's inherent, not necessarily because Cody is big time and then he shared with the prophet, this is how you do it. I just think it's inherent to the system. It's a logical step of an institution that is built on the cornerstone of being able to take advantage of women, and for the benefit of their male counterparts, their husbands. I think that's just it's a logical step. It's just a tool that they would use. Just like it wouldn't surprise me if you go through the AUB community or even the Mormon community in some cases, I know I don't want to bang them. They're two separate things. They're not the same thing. Just so we're very clear. They're two separate things. LDS is completely different than the Mormons, or AUBs rather. But I wouldn't be surprised to find out that all the property is in the husband's name either. Like, you know what I mean? Or he's making all the financial decisions and he just happens to have a stow of money away. Like, that's not going to surprise me either, because it's built into the system. You know, maybe it's a little rough to say the Mormons, but definitely for the AUB, I would not be surprised. But let's go to Mary again.
Hey, James, this is Mary again. About the two-part special with Christine, what exactly is going on there? Is this going to show them driving the NASCAR car and all of this stuff? But does this mean that Robin's not going to really be on the screen for these next 4 episodes? I mean, what's really going on? Maybe that's the Merry Christmas to all of us. We don't get to see Robin, just Cody. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. But I just don't know what's going on with the episodes that Christine meeting up is a 2-part thing. This doesn't make any sense with not having that much content, in my opinion. Also, with Cody at that dinner with Robin, if I was Robin, I would start getting worried about him. To me, he doesn't seem all that right in the head. It doesn't seem like he's remembering things correctly. And changing the narrative, maybe he doesn't even know how it did go down or something. Honestly, I don't think he's well. He doesn't seem well. He doesn't seem to be doing better. You know, he's not even into retirement. And to me, it looks like he's having memory problems. But that's just me. Well, let me know what you think, James.
All right. Here's what I think. I think that when it comes down to like Robin being on the show for the apology tour, I think it just comes down to simply this. She won't be there for the apology tour, but I'd be willing to bet she's going to have like these little cutesy things that she's doing with her kids. She's going to be hanging out with her girls, going shopping or something while Cody's away, or, you know, hanging out with potentially Aurora's boyfriend, you know, her and her boyfriend going out with Robin, just so that they can try to work them into the show a little more. So I don't think we're not going to see any Robin. We just won't see her interacting with the other wives. But mostly by her choice. Like, I don't think she wants to. So she doesn't have any desire, because, you know, she thinks she's better than them. So it is what it is. I'm better than you. I don't need to be on the screen with trash. Like, so, you know, as I say, these ladies need to recognize what it is. Next up, we got Candace.
Hey, James. This is Candace. This is the first message. Maybe the only, I don't know. But anyway, I was listening, you know, to your Tuesday Live, and just listening to Michelle and Megatron, and I disagree with Michelle in a way. I think that I know quite a bit about narcissism and whatever. I'm not an expert by any means, but I've dealt with these people, and just knowing what I know from life experience and just what I've seen of Cody. I know I don't know all those people on that show, but
I don't think like malignant narcissists like Cody and Robin change. They just keep on doing what they do. They never own it. Like, so I think Cody's eventually going to be in a bad way. And I think how his kids will deal with it is when he's in a bad way, whatever happens in his life after Robin leaves, I think they will be compassionate. One of his kids will probably step up and help him as he's aging and whatever. And that's how it kind of works in those families. One of the kids steps up to do it, to take care of that parent.
Uh-oh. She got off. Hold on. We're going to go right to the next message.
Hey, James, Candace here again, message number 2. Anyway, so that's what I've seen in, families that have had to deal with an aging parent like Cody, that it's just nasty. They haven't been there for them when they were children, but they step up because they're human beings. They realize their parent is a human being and they want to be compassionate, and they will do it because nobody else is going to do it. And I kind of see some of Cody's kids coming around to try and help him in the end, and then some are going to be no contact with him still. I don't see him reconciling with all of his children because I don't think it's within Cody's makeup to do that. I think he's too stubborn. He's just going to keep doing this, and I think he'll just get worse and nastier over time. And it just kills me that TLC acts like, the way they portray this show, like that this is okay. Like they just keep showing this crap, this toxic, unhealthy dynamic, and like it's okay to just give Cody that platform. Anyway, I would love if TLC would just be more decent and just process through more of it, but it's a trash network and they're not going to do it. Anyway, that's my take.
Yeah, I think that in fairness to Michelle, because I appreciate what you're saying as far as narcissists not changing. I think with that conversation, one thing that I think Michelle and I both agreed on was that narcissism as a can be treated. It can be treated. I'll say that. I won't even speak for Michelle. I'll say from my perspective. Narcissism can be treated. The problem that you have, as with any treatment that you would receive for anything, whether it's psychopathy, sociopathy, anything, like anything you could come up with, you have to be willing to commit to the treatment yourself. It's a personal decision where you have to decide that this is something I want to do and I want to improve myself and I want to try to work to improve myself. I'm willing to do the work. If you are not committed to any process, if you have a gambling problem, you have a problem with the libations, you have a problem with substances, and you're not committed, it doesn't matter if your family thinks you should be in these programs. It doesn't matter if your life would go better if you could get yourself well or clean or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is your level of commitment and your willingness to do this for yourself and do what's necessary in order to get it done. With that being said, the problem that you have, especially with narcissism or things of that nature, is that they don't think they have a problem. They think they're fine. I'm better than fine. I'm great. And if anything, it's everybody else has a problem. So therefore, any treatment from that respect won't work unless they seek it out. And in most cases, they won't seek it out because they don't think they have a problem. They don't think they need treatment. So that's why I think that it's so common that very few narcissists will actually go out and get the help that they need. The second part about it, and this is a little weird, and it may be controversial. Let me know what you guys think. As far as him changing, narcs don't think there's anything wrong with him. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they think there's anything wrong with him. So I don't think they'll go for for treatment. So that's part of the problem. But as far as change is concerned, when he gets older or if he loses everything, the crazy thing about narcissists, even liars, okay, lies only work for people who want to believe the lie. Narcissists use lies as tools. And if they feel that they need to be dishonest or they need to treat you a certain kind of way and present a changed front in order for them to get something that they want or something they feel they need from somebody else, they will change so that they can meet that end. Now, are they different? No. It's still the same person. It comes from the same shit. But they may present different. And in the sense that you're a child who wants to get the approval of that person, that makes you subject to fall for or be manipulated by that presented change, which isn't real, but you're willing to go along with it because you want this to be real. You want it to work out. You finally got your parents coming around to seeing you for who you are, the way you are, and you're going to have the relationship you always dreamed about. Now, the crazy part is if they ever get 2 feet on the ground, they're going to go right back to treating you how they was treating you. Sometimes they might have a toe on the ground and they go back to treat you how they was treating you because that's just how they were used to treating you. But you might see some change in the personality or how he attends to you or how he talks to you, depending on how much he needs you. Right? Now, it's not necessarily going to be permanent, and I probably wouldn't put myself through that, but I think that's something to be noted. And I do think that like your ability or inability to hang out with or watch your kids or be a part of that situation, it's more where you are. And I think that Candace is right on that. Like, I think it's not necessarily because Cody's a good person or he's changed that his kids would be willing to help him out as he gets older. But if anything, they'll help him out because that's who they are. That's more a commentary on their character as opposed to Cody's ability to change or be a different person or even treat them better. So I think that those are some things that we just have to keep in mind as they move forward. Yeah. Yeah, I grew up with Melissa. She said they can change your reality. It's crazy and evil. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they'll have you drowning on dry land. It's crazy. But let's go to Anonymous.
Hi, James. I feel like I might have a little bit different take on Robin's reaction to the apology tour. I agree. She absolutely wouldn't want to have to apologize for anything herself. But I wonder if the biggest reason for her kind of panicked reaction is because she does not want a pathway for the OG-13 kids to come back into the fold. She's already proven to be a roadblock a couple of different times. When Mary asked her, should I invite the whole family to Christmas? And Robin was like, oh, that sounds dangerous. She didn't want them boys there. The same when he was talking about his conversation with Aspen, and Aspen asking him, why don't you like me? And Robin, flipped that to, oh, that's confrontational. She doesn't want them kids around. They'd take time away from her kids. They would have influence on her kids, maybe spilling the beans on some of what her and Cody have done over the years, not to mention, possible money and inheritance that they might take away. So I think a lot of her reaction was that she just does not want those kids around. Wondering what you think. Thanks.
No, I think that's fair. Say that she doesn't want the kids around because not only does she not want the kids around, I think the money aspect is there. I think time and attention is there as well. Because we also have to keep in mind that when she first came into the family, Logan and Hunter were still around. And as much as, Cody may have shunned hanging out with his other children or even his other wives, he was present when Logan and Hunter were going off to their football games and when they were going to their wrestling events. And anybody who's ever known somebody who was involved with wrestling is an all damn day event. And I'm talking about, when I say all day, technically it's not even all day. It could be all weekend. Okay, so there's times when Cody was probably going away with Hunter because he was state champ, and even maybe even Logan, where he was going away for a significant amount of time. And he was spending time with these kids where he wasn't necessarily coming back and replenishing that time with Robin's kids. So there might be that part of it as well. There's also the factor where you have, and this is no shot on Logan or Hunter because, they're kids and they can't control what their parents do or how he spent his time. There's also the point where you have a parent who doesn't, they have what would be their stepkids or bonus kids. They don't necessarily want them in the house because then those kids could go back and tell their mom usually or their parent what's going on in their house. So you don't want to, having the kids come over, having Cody have a relationship with those kids could invite the other wives to become privy as to what's going on in Robin's house. You think about it, like she spent a lot of time making sure that the family was separate. She spent a lot of time investing in the notion that the family was going to be separate. She was going to have her family apart and divided from the Brown family whole. And in doing that, it seems counterproductive for you to have somebody who can come into your home and then go back and report to all the other mothers or other kids what's happening at your house. When Cody was buying gifts for Robin's kids, if one of the OG-13 came over to the house and Dayton was like, hey, let's go upstairs, play with my new video game system. What? What do you mean new video game system? What are you talking about? Yeah, I just got it last week. I asked me and the other kids asked dad for a video game system too. And he said it was too expensive. And he said it's the devil. Well, dad be playing with me on my game, son. That's that kind of thing could be detrimental. You also have the instances where I guess in Christine's book, she had talked about how Peyton had mentioned that Robin and her kids were getting takeout all the time. That's something that you would see if kids were coming over to your house. So starting off early, you don't want the kids to come over to your house because you don't want them to know that every night you guys are doing takeout. Whereas you go over to Christine and them house, they eating out the cupboard, right? Until Cody comes over, in which case he's eating steak and potatoes. But there's that difference. And then as they get older, if they buying them cars, they buying them clothes, they doing this, that, and other. And there's already accusation that Cody is spending an inordinate amount of time at Robin's house. And in addition to that, you find out that he's spending additional money. So not only could he talk about the money that's being spent in Robin's house, but the kids could also report back that Cody is spending a lot of time at Robin's house. So they grow up in a culture where the kids are divided. So I think she's just responding to the fact that this is the way that they have always done it. But thank you so much for calling in, Candace or Anonymous. And then next up, we'll do Candace too, but Anonymous as well. Next up, let's do Kelly.
Hi, James. This is Kelly. My question is, now that Cody is going on his apology tour, I'm really curious if any of the ex-wives will bring up his relationship with the kids. It's always bothered me that they give him the time of day with how they've treated their kids. I mean, obviously we don't know everything about every single relationship since a lot of the kids are private on social media, But with Leon recently coming out and addressing Cody's lack of communication, how can Mary not throw that in his face immediately? I know their source of income is dependent on some level of discussion and interaction with Cody, but as a mother, I wouldn't be able to refrain from bringing up his abysmal track record with his kids every time I was forced to speak with him. If the father of my children hurt them as much as Cody has seemingly hurt some of the OG 13, I don't think there is a paycheck big enough to make me speak to him again until he repaired those relationships.
I think that's a fair criticism. Like, I think that, but that's something that they would always have to hold. I think Brittany, I heard part of it. I think she's kind of talking about this in the next clip, in the next couple clips. We'll have a few more left to go, guys. Don't worry about it. But Kelly, let's hear what you have to say again.
Hi, James. Kelly again. My second comment, kind of slash question, is about Robin's relationship to the OG 13 and why this isn't brought up more. Why does no one question her about why she doesn't have a relationship with them? Even before all the COVID rules, was she calling them and maintaining a relationship with them, like for the kids that had left home? Like, if she is really considering them her kids, why didn't she reach out on her own, independent from Cody, to heal the relationship she has with them? To be fair, the same could be said of the ex-wives and Robin's kids. Again, we don't really know if they have access to them or what that relationship looks like. Nobody ever asks. It's possible this isn't brought up because the kids have made it clear they don't want their parents discussing them on the show, but I feel like it's a glaring hole in the storyline. Everyone is so focused on Cody's relationship to the kids, but what about Robin? She could have done her own apology tour and tried to mend some of her relationships with the kids, but she hasn't because she's a liar. She doesn't consider those kids hers. They're just her husband's kids who have the potential to take his time and money and resources away from her and her children.
I think that's a fair criticism. However, from what I saw and what I've heard her say in the past, if you ever ask her, how come you don't have a good relationship with the OG 13, what she'll turn into the camera and say through tear blurred eyes, what she hopes to be tear blurred eyes, just her looking up, heavy breathing and looking up. She'll say something to the effect of, I love those kids and I would love nothing more than to have a relationship with those kids. I love those kids. But right now, it just doesn't seem like it's going to work because they don't want to have a relationship with me. But my door is always open because I love those kids and I want to have a relationship with them. I do. And it breaks my heart that I can't have a relationship with those kids because I love those kids. And that'll be like the standing point or basically the framework of her response if she's ever asked about it. And she may even go as far as to say, I've encouraged Cody to have a relationship with his kids because I know how important it is. And then she'll go into the backstory about how she felt abandoned by her her father, and good thing her dad, Papa Sullivan, Uncle Daddy, stepped in and helped her out because, even though she calls him dad, she really misses her natural father, and that blew a hole in her whole childhood, and she feels bad about it. So I think that's the case. Could she do it? I don't think she could. I'll be honest with you, just from what she said, I don't think that she has the facility, because I know Cody's impressed with the way she talks. I'm not. I don't think she has the facility based on the things that she said on the show to understand what it is she's done and why, what she would need to do in order to build those relationships back. Part of the problem, from what I understand and for what I even surmised and what I guessed was, and was later confirmed by the kids, is that anytime there's an issue or a problem, Robin takes that problem, turns it around, reshapes it, and makes the issue about her. She centralizes everything. So if there's an issue or a problem, somehow it'll be about her and how everybody is picking on her and victimizing her, and everybody should feel bad for her because they need to protect her instead of criticizing her. And if you've been somebody, like, you don't get to punch me in the face and then talk about how bad your hand hurt and how I should go get you some ice because your hand hurts after you punch me in the face. And then we're going to sit here and have a conversation about how you was thinking about learning to go play the piano, but you don't know how good a prospect that is because now your hand potentially could be broke. You know, and your rock and roll career and dreams are now all awash. And it's somehow my fault that you punched me in the face. Like, so I can see that being a thing too, where Robin would have she would find it difficult based on what I've been observing of her on the show. I think she would find it difficult to be able to bridge the gap on why these kids are hurt. And then to understand why they hurt might be the first step in actually going back to helping them heal so that you can actually build a bridge to them. And because she can't do the first part, which is understand that they are hurt and why they're hurt, I don't think that, the prospect that she's ever going to have a relationship with them is like, good luck, Chuck. So I think that's part of it. Okay. Then we have Tanya Carter in the house.
I think it's so gross that they're actually calling the apology tour the apology tour. And I mean, they, like, TLC is actually advertising it like it's a concert tour or something. Like, that's how you know this whole show was scripted and it was fake probably from day one. Because who would accept an apology really from someone who is just like, yeah, I'm going on this apology tour. He's not apologizing for anything that he was accused of, but, he just wants them to stop talking about him. It's like, it's a show, dude. Like, if they don't talk about you, there's no show. If you don't talk about them, there's no show. And you're only going on a quote unquote apology tour so that you guys will be relevant, that you don't have a show if you're not in each other's lives, and you don't have a show if you're not talking about polygamy. So it's like Little People, Big World. They went 25 seasons because they forced Amy and what's his name to communicate and hang out with each other when in real life, who hangs out with their ex-wife and their new husband? Like, be so for real.
Yeah, right. Go hang out with your ex. Not today. I agree. I think that the whole thing of the apology tour, to me, it doesn't make sense. They have to do it now because there's interest lost in the show, and they're trying to keep everybody together on the show. But this type of apology tour, technically, the I did love you when I said I didn't, that was all a lie. I don't care. We broke up now. That's all bullshit. Okay, who cares if you love me or if you didn't? It doesn't make a difference because no matter what you say in the affirmative or the negative, it's not going to change our situation. Because you tell me you love me or you didn't love me, it's not like it's going to be determinative of whether we be together tomorrow. So it's all that's kind of bullshit. So he's apologizing for the wrong thing. And to be honest with you, part of the issue that I have and have been having is that one, Robin and Cody, and even the OG3, if we're going to be very honest about it, they aren't really revealing anything about their lives. They're just kind of on TV collecting the checks at this point. Like, we won't be honest. They're just on TV collecting checks because there's nothing they talk about, nothing that they're going through, nothing that they're sharing with us is anything outside the realm of conversation that you could have with a complete stranger on a train. Right? This is the stuff they're sharing with you. Oh, I have an ex-wife. Doesn't mean, okay, we don't get along. I mean, that explains why they're your ex. I don't talk to my kids because my ex is crazy. I mean, that's one of the things that personally, story time. One of James's pet peeves. I talk about myself in the third person. Did you catch it? One of my pet peeves is when I talk to a guy, and this is not saying that this can't be the case. It's not impossible. But you talk to a guy and he says, yeah, man, I would see my kids, but my baby mama is crazy. That on its face annoys the shit out of me. And it annoys me because, one, in most cases that I'm aware of, most of the time I talk to people and be like, yeah, my baby mama is crazy. Why? Because she expects you to come around on a consistent basis. She expects you to actually spend time with the child as opposed to just coming by, looking at them, tell them to do a twirl, take a couple selfies and drive off. Or you only contact them when it's your mama's birthday, family reunion, or some other event or occasion where you need to show him off because everybody who's in attendance knows that you have a child and you don't want to look like a bad dad, so you want to take them, and because you only want to pop in and pop out when it's convenient for you, and the mom's not cooperating with you, now all of a sudden she's a bad mom. You know what I mean? She's crazy. Not even a bad mom. She's crazy. That's not crazy to me. And if your baby mama is Looney Tunes, which sometimes happens, and if she is Looney Tunes, was she Looney Tunes when you laid down with her? That's my question usually. I mean, when you was banging her, was she crazy? Because sometimes that makes it even more fun. That adds spice to the relationship, makes it spicy. When she crazy, that's what make her fun because she's unpredictable. She's willing to do anything. You don't know what's gonna happen. That's what made her fun. But the problem is that's not really good mama material because she's capable of anything. You don't know what she's gonna do. So, like that whole diatribe that Cody puts out, oh, I don't see my kids because my baby mama don't let me. Like, come on, bro. Because I've used this example before, and I've historically used this example many, many, many times in these kind of conversations. If instead of it being a child, if it was a multi-billion-dollar company, like instead of it being Truly Brown, it was Truly Diagnostics or Truly Entertainment Industries, and that Truly business was worth $1.6 billion. There's no way in hell Cody is driving by the house, not stopping in every day to check on Truly, see how Truly doing, make sure Truly's growing the right way, make sure everything is being done right by Truly, make sure that you're not doing anything that's deteriorous towards Truly's development and and graduation, right, into bigger money. You would make sure if your co-founder Christine Brown ever said you can't talk to Truly no more, I'm gonna take Truly the business out of town and you can't see Truly no more, don't worry about Truly again, your ass would have had her in court. She would have been in court. She would have been in there answering questions. She would have had to turn in a reply to your complaint saying that she's doing wrong by you. And you demand to have visitation or access to your business. But because we're not talking about a business and we're talking about a child and we're not talking about profits, we're talking about liabilities, especially financial liabilities and time liabilities. Now all of a sudden it's, oh, my baby mama crazy. She don't never let me see that child. When's the last time you called her? It was probably about 2 years ago. I called on her birthday. What happened? I told her I would call her back, but I got busy. You know what I mean? So miss me with a lot of that dumb shit. So, but these are all things that they have to try to piece together because they're trying to keep the show going. But at no point is any of this, like I said, all of this is stuff that you would talk to a stranger on a train about, just to pass the time away. There's nothing that's going on these shows currently, especially this season, that you couldn't talk about on a train with a perfect stranger. You're not revealing anything. So I think that's why the show's in trouble. But thank you so much, Tanya Kata. Miss Kata. Next up, we have Brittany Not Brittany. It should be closing the night out for us. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the evening. Let's see. Hold on a second. Could go Brittany, not Brittany.
This whole bullshit ass apology tour really pisses me off because Cody is worried about the wrong damn thing as all fucking ways. Okay? He's sitting up there talking about, I really need to apologize and let them know that I did love them because that was, like, that's, Cody, that is not the most egregious thing that you need to apologize for. You need to apologize to Christine for making her sit up there with Isabel by herself during her surgery. You need to apologize to Christine again for making her have to watch Gwen, Truly, and Isabel watch your ass zip up and down the highway past their house every damn day without stopping by. You need to apologize to Janelle for telling her that her kids need to find someplace else to go during COVID. You need to apologize to Janelle for having to watch Maddie make decisions about whether or not her children can be around you because you are just an inconsistent, terrible ass person. You need to apologize. You need to apologize to Mary for how you've been treating Leon because Leon said that you don't talk to them at all. That's what you need to apologize for. Don't nobody but Mary give a damn that you never loved them, whether or not you love them or not. Like nobody cares but Mary. So you need to start there. And also, you know what? I'm gonna come back.
Well, Brittany is back.
Also, I truly hope that David cussed Christine's ass out the whole way back home after their little meeting because I don't know why Christine. Here's the thing. Everyone said, all the wives have said that they never know what's going to come out of Cody's mouth. David has seen the outlandish shit that Cody says. Christine knows the outlandish shit that Cody says. So why are you going to fix your mouth to say that him and David would really get along and that Cody's a good guy? Just for Cody to show his whole ass and sit up there in David's face, tell you, Christine, that it was a lie and he loved you the whole time and he misses you and whatever bullshit ass stuff he said in front of David's face. It was disrespectful as hell. And for you to sit up there and try to gaslight David into thinking that him and Cody could ever be cool, you don't lost your fucking mind. I would have cussed you out. I would have cussed you out from the moment Cody said that all the way till we got back to the house. And for the next 2 weeks, everything I would have said to you would have been you getting cussed the fuck out. Because how dare you? No, ma'am. Try again.
Brittany with the long ride home. Then he gonna look me in the face and say, "You're welcome." I like, for what? All them skills I told in the bedroom, you welcome. Are you crazy? Yeah, right. You welcome. Oh man, that's terrible. That's terrible. I picked that flower myself. Is this guy trying to get what are you trying to do? I'm just saying, Christine, I'm sorry. I did remember I told you I didn't love you. Yeah, I did love you. Now you may go forth and have a happy life, knowing that I did love you. Your life is now complete. Christineth of Brown Woolly. Like, oh, I'm glad I went to that dinner. Oh, I don't blame the one thing I don't blame David for at all for saying, you know what, if we're going to shoot this dumb shit and you're going to put me through it, you're not going to be able to just give me a meal. You're going to pay for me to go to Vegas. So basically, you're going to give me a vacation and we're going to do an activity that I want to do. And then we're going to go to a nice restaurant, sit down, have a meal, and then I'll let you guys film me with this stupid shit. Unironically, isn't that what Christine had teased last year? Oh, well, you and Cody should go out on a vacation, go on a trip together. Tahee. Because that's what they do on reality shows. Next year they're gonna go to the Bahamas or Bermuda or something. Let's go down to the Caribbean, and then maybe we could get together as a family in the Caribbean. It'll be me and Robin, the quiet, shy wife, pretty wife. It'll be David and Christine, Mary by herself, and Janelle by herself. And then we'll all get together and meet and try to figure out if we could do a family reunion. Episode 21 or season 21. Brown Family in Paradise. Roll tape, So, but Brittany had one more thing. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there with us. We have one more.
And you know what? Another reason why I'm most likely just not going to be watching after this season is because the OG3 are just fake as hell. I just I'm not someone who really respects people who talk shit about other people and they don't say it to their face. I'm also not someone who respects you if you allow your friends to do the shit talking for you so that way you can claim that you never said anything. Like that's just lame. And I don't have time to watch lame shit. Like there's other stuff that I could be watching and occupying my time. So no. Cause like even like Janelle pissed me off because why are you talking shit about Cody to a child? Like what are we doing? What are we get a life. Get a life, grow the fuck up. Go do something productive. Like I just it's just is that little shit that pissed me off because then y'all won't even you do that shit and then you have the audacity to sit up there and feign like, it really wouldn't be a good thing for y'all to sit in front of Cody and Robin. Like you just can't do it. Y'all can't all sit together. No, this shit is childish. And y'all are way too fucking grown. Like way too fucking grown for this nonsense.
I don't disagree. I mean, I think it's just dry. Like I think we just reached that point where they're trying to figure a non-invasive way of telling this story where they don't have to reveal too much about themselves, but they like the check. They want to keep getting a check, but they can't come to an agreement on who's going to be the villain. Because in order for this to work, somebody has to be the hero, somebody has to be the villain, somebody has to be the bad guy, somebody has to be the heavy. And nobody wants to be the heavy. I don't know, Chris Janelle, she seemed like she might be willing to try though. I was willing to betray Maddie. I said, do what you have to. But the problem is the way they set the show up. If Janelle becomes the villain or Christine becomes the villain, the whole show is coming off the rails. That bad boy is going down like the Titanic, so I don't know. But it's just because that's what it's coming off as too. Because we were told that you guys had these perfect lives, perfect relationships. Turned out that was a lie. Then you set up things that just don't appear to be or feel to be true or honest. The idea or concept that exes who had these bitter ass divorces all of a sudden trying to meet to try to be mature and we're going to get together. Sometimes the mature thing is for you to realize that you can't get along with somebody and leave them the fuck alone. That's the mature thing. Maturity isn't you just sitting somewhere being tormented or made to feel uncomfortable, allowing yourself to feel uncomfortable for the sake of saying that you're being mature. That's actually, to me, that's immature. That's immature. It's not. I wouldn't give somebody credit because you've gone somewhere, somebody done something or said something to you that's insanely disrespectful, and you tolerate it and sit there and smile in their faces, all in the name of being mature. That shit is immature as hell. Because adults don't have to do that. The adults don't do that. It's not an adult thing to do. Like as an adult, I get to decide who I spend my time with, who I'm allow into my space. As a child, I might not have complete say over who my parents invite over to the house. I have a say on who can come to my house and who can't, who I'm going to get in my car and drive to go see. Right? You can't make me go see somebody I don't like or don't respect. But the way they're doing it is like, I'm being mature, so I'm going to go over and hang out with Cody and Robin because I'm mature. Mature is you see them at the your kids' events, you say hi, you're cordial. How are you? How's everything going? Okay, fine. You have the surface conversations like you do on Sister Wives. Basically, anything you guys have been talking about on Sister Wives, you could talk about at one of these weddings or whatever. It doesn't make a difference because it's neither here nor there. And you just take your ass home. You ain't got to be friends. Maturity is also you not trying to be friends with people who you're not friends with. Maturity is understanding that there's a difference between being friends and being friendly. There's a difference. I can be friendly to anybody, but that doesn't mean that we're friends. That doesn't mean I'm going to tell you my deepest, darkest secrets. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be vulnerable around you. And recognizing where they are and what they've been through and what they've said about each other and how they feel about each other. I don't see a universe in which Cody, Robin, Mary, Christine, or Janelle, any of them should be comfortable with being vulnerable around any of them. Because as Brittany has pointed out, you guys have all displayed that you have flaws, and you've all displayed that you probably shouldn't trust one another. You're not trustworthy with one another. So why would you put yourself in a situation where you would allow that to happen? You make yourself vulnerable because now you've gone from being mature to a stone cold ass fool. That's foolish. Isn't that what we're talking about? If Mary went out there and she started trusting Cody and said, with everything that he did, in light of what they said, like in this mindset, I'm going to be mature and I'm going to sign the non-disclosure agreement, allowing Cody to do whatever it is he wants to do because I'm going to be mature and I'm going to trust him like an adult. What you would be is a fool who just got ripped off yet again, and you're going to sit there and at some point later on down the line, when it comes out that this is what happens, you want me to feel bad and get mad about you signing up to get ripped off again because you want to be mature. And then when I criticize him for doing it, or I ask you about it, especially in the case of Mary, she has a history of turning around and getting mad at the people who even ask about it. Oh, he treated you like that, girl? He's terrible for... Look, you guys don't know me. You don't know my life. You don't know Cody. I don't know why you commenting on this kind of stuff. You don't know everything. You don't know what I'm thinking. I worried it up. Okay, cool. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Why am I sitting there getting mad, raising my damn blood pressure, and you don't give a shit? Because you're mature. You be mature. All I know is, you know, I might not be as mature as them, but I'm also not getting ripped off for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. In the name of maturity. You know what I mean? I'm mature. I'm out there trying to beg, borrow, and steal and get payback money that got ripped off of me. No. Oh. But that's what I have, guys. Oh, we had a super chat come in. What's Melissa Sweetster? Okay, Melissa Sweetster. Sweetster, love it. $10 super chat. James, listening to your show reminds me of when I was a child listening to old school radio. I love it. Thank you. It's informative, funny, entertaining. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know what you mean. A little terrestrial radio. I got you. That's actually, I think, in fairness, I would probably say, dare venture to say that my show might even be inspired by some of those old shows. So thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate it. Definitely thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. That's awesome. He does the voices. Thank you so much, Melissa. Appreciate you. Melissa Sweetster. She's the sweetest. Let me give you a little something, Melissa. Appreciate you. All right. Well, before we go, I want to thank you guys all for hanging out with me. I know it's been going for 3 hours, and mostly because we didn't do the show last week. So I had some leftover speak pipes. So we're going to have all new fresh speak pipes hopefully next Thursday. If you guys want to call in, leave your messages. You're more than welcome to do that. Hold on 1 second. Okay. You're more than welcome to do that. Just go to speakpipe.com/mytakeonreality. I started putting them at the top of the descriptions, but I want to put them on my webpage. I got to redo my my page, especially because we're going to have some surprises coming up soon. Surprise, surprise! Especially for people who are no longer watching Sister Wives. We'll have some things for you guys so that everybody can participate and feel like they are a part. I'll tell you what. Yeah, there you go. Speak pipe. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. Appreciate you. And then don't forget, Saturday we have the round table. You guys, if you're members, you get to call in, leave a membership message, and I'll be giving 5 memberships this Sunday for the after show too. So make sure you come through for that. But we'll be doing Saturday at noon. We do a round table for the members. You guys can come in, call up. We have a whole panel full of callers, and we talk to each other. We have a full conversation. Sometimes we talk about Sister Wives. A lot of times we don't. We talk about everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. So it's a good time. All right. Thank you guys so much. Let's give a huge shout out to the folks who called in. We have Ty, Annie Banani. Of course, we had Linda in the house, Sunny Bunny, Martinek. I know I said it right when I said it. Martinek, Brittany, not Brittany, Mary, Candace. We had one from Anonymous. Then we had Kelly and Tanya. Thank you guys so much for calling in, leaving those speak pipes. I appreciate you. I also want to give some acknowledgement to some folks who left the super chats. We had Brittany, not Brittany, Cindy from Oz. We had Ty in the house. And of course, we had Melissa Sweetster, who left a super chat for us. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Let's give a huge shout out. Let's throw some hearts in the chat for Lizzie B and Carmel Cuties, Brittany, not Brittany, the Mega Mod Squad, who's always holding us down, keeping the chats nice and safe, and making sure that everything flows while I'm up here trying to juggle balls and stuff. These guys are behind the scenes doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and I appreciate them. So let's get some hearts in the chats for them because they are awesome. That's the Mega Mod Squad. All right. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I genuinely appreciate it. Let me give the chat as well as the Mega Mods, the callers, and the super chatters a little something. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I know we ran a little late tonight with 3 hours, but we had to get all the speak pipes in. Thank you guys so much. We will be back on Saturday for the members round table, and then we're going to be back for Sunday night to kick off this apology tour. All right. Make sure that you guys have hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, because I will be dropping some short form videos and I don't want you guys to miss out. I'm also going to make sure you're subscribed to you're in the friend group for My Take on Reality on Facebook, because I will be putting notices of which videos will be coming out when, so that way you guys are notified when I have stuff dropping as well. All right. So it's a couple ways that you can get notified. Sometimes YouTube is my friend, sometimes not so much, and they won't notify you guys even when you have the bell rung. But ring the bell just in case. You never know. All right. So thank you guys so much. I'm James. That's my take. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.